What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am so excited you are here. We're gonna learn together. This is the Tarver Academy Summer Professional Development. We're gonna learn. Learning's happening. It's going down today. We're about to get started. My name is Tyler. I run Tarver Academy. It's an online resource for teachers and students and educators, and it's a great community where people just get involved and learn and get better. And I throw resources to you guys, throw ideas around. It's just a lot of fun. Just a whole lot of fun, Tarver Academy. So if you need anything, I'm here. TarverAcademy.com has a ton of resources and things that you can go to check out. A little bit about me, just so you know, you don't think I'm just like, hey, here's a random YouTuber talking about, videos or whatever. My name's Tyler. I started out teaching high school math, and then I moved into a tech director / facilitator role. Then I was a principal of a school, 6th through 12th grade. 6th through 12th grade. Fun ages. That's good stuff, okay? Good stuff. Never any drama, 6th through 12th grade. No drama. And our school had waivers from the state, so we did a lot of online, we did a lot of blended, we did a lot of in-person learning, all the above. So we get to learn a lot, make some mistakes, do some stuff right, and try to learn from everything we did. Then after that, I went to central office, and I was director of curriculum instruction, and now I'm the dean of NLC College. And I'm so excited to be here, learning and growing with you guys. I'm also giving a little bit of time for people to jump in, get started, and we're about to go through some of the housekeeping stuff. We're gonna do a little check-in right now at the beginning, and then at the end of this video, at the end of this training, we're going to have a chance for you to get a certificate showing that you actually showed up and you did the learning, okay? I think that this training and the other trainings that you are gonna get the chance to be a part of this summer are gonna help you grow as an educator. And if you grow as an educator, all it does is help the students and the community that you live in. And so let's try our best to learn something, take something away from this that we can put in our repertoire and get better with. Okay, so the first thing I need you guys to do is I need us to check in, okay? And this check-in, what it does is it timestamps when you are here so that you might not need this later, but if your administrator or whoever comes back and they're like, how do I know you didn't just click to the end? This shows that you were here at the beginning. So you can scan the QR code that is on the screen if you have your cell phone. And on my phone with me, get your phone out. I'll use my wallet, Atlanta Braves wallet. Film that, you just hold your phone over that QR code that you see on the screen. You'll see something pop up at the top. Click that and it'll take you to where you can fill out that you were here. It's very short, very quick. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to do that right now. Go ahead, scan the QR code, go to the website, check in, and when you do that, you will get an email. If you do not get an email immediately, this happened, I told you, I was a tech director for a long time, okay? I'd say a long time. I was a tech director long enough to know that if you don't get that email that you're filling out right now, it's because you typed your email address in wrong. That's exactly what happens. 19 times out of 19 and a half times, that's what happens. So go ahead and go to that. Remember, at the end of this session, there's gonna be another QR code that you're gonna scan that is going to give you the certification saying that you actually did the training. Both of these are time-stamped. So if your administrator or whoever's in charge of PD for your district wants to see that and be like, how do I know you did this? You've got your check-in email that is time-stamped by me, not by you. It's into a PDF or it's into that email. And then you will also have the timestamp on your certificate showing that you did this. Okay, so hopefully everybody is getting that done. Okay, giving you a little bit of time. If you have any trouble, just keep trying because I think it's pretty important to get that logged in. Now, while we're doing that, if you're finishing that up, or if you can hear me, what I would love for you to do is I would love for you to hit the red subscribe button. This is my YouTube channel, Tarver Academy. That's what I call it. It's kind of where I got this started. I had this before I had the website, and then I put up the website to put all the resources and all the stuff I was doing. But if you would hit the red subscribe button right now, that would be huge. That would be just super cool of you. And that way, you can hopefully see some of the other trainings that I'm doing, see some videos I do throughout the year to help teachers, to help students, to have fun and learn together. So hit that red subscribe button. Did you do it? Did you? You get the like too, the little thumbs up. That's just YouTube etiquette. You get the thumbs up. It's just really nice to do. So you want to hit the thumbs up button, you can. And I would love to start this. How about this? in the chat, okay? Because if you're watching this on my website, which is where you can watch it, that's fine. You're not gonna see the chat, but if you click and watch this on YouTube, you're gonna see a chat rolling on the side of the screen. Start it off. I want you guys in the chat to say who you are, like give your name, tell us what you teach and where you teach, okay? If you're an administrator, you can say that I'm a principal, or you can say your central office, whatever you do. I've got some people that have signed up for this that are aspiring educators. So this is great to say, I want to be an educator, I want to be an English teacher for high school, throw that in there. If you want to be a kindergarten teacher, toss that in there, say you're in school. It's a great way to network, because I think there is an amazing community of educators here wanting to learn and grow together. And I think that it's great if we look out for each other. So throw in the chat, I want you to say your name, what you teach, and where you teach. Throw that in the chat. All right, man, we're doing good. We're doing good. It's our warm up. We're feeling good. We're stretching it out. It's always good to stretch before you stretch. I don't know, I heard some friends say that, so I say it from time to time. Okay, next thing. This is another little thing. I've got one right here. So I've written a couple books. I've done Superheroes Need Sleep Too. This is a children's book. It's like a nap time book, so you don't have to read that. But this one I think is super relevant for you. This is the Baller Teacher Playbook, and in it I have like practical advice. It's 18 chapters. So the idea is that you could do this like once a week with your team for a full semester, or every other week for a year, and try to improve your teaching every week. I'm not doing this to sell it to you. I'm doing this to say I'm giving some of these away all summer to people that are participating in this. So if you want a chance to win one of these, or I think I probably got some other educator books. If you're like, I don't really want your book, Tyler, I got a ton of educator books. I'll send them to you. All you got to do, follow me on Instagram at Tyler Tarver. Follow me at Tyler Tarver on Instagram, and I will. I'm going to be giving these out throughout the summer. You might be the person I give it to. So follow me on Instagram, and then throw some in your Instagram story if you want. Just increase your chances of me seeing it. So I'm just going to be clicking through. I see people follow on Instagram. I'm going to throw out stuff to them. So random people will get it. You might not, but you won't if you don't. So there we go. Y'all feeling good? Does everybody feel good? Everybody throw in the chat who they are, where they teach, what they teach. Okay, so to explain also what this is, you are watching, this is a live broadcast. So this is going as a YouTube premiere or a full-on live video. So one of the two. Either way, that chat is happening live. Everybody that jumps into this video at any point is going to be watching it at the same time as you. So it's great to get in the chat and talk, discuss, ask questions, give input. If we ask a question in the video, you can type it in your notes, but you can also type it in the chat. You can copy paste from the chat. It's a great way for you to be a part of this live broadcast, okay? So if you have a Google Notes, if you have a notes document, if you want to take notes by hand, I've got a template for notes if you want. It sent it to you whenever you filled out your email. It should have been on that page whenever you did your check-in at the beginning. If not, it's on like every PD page. I have my website, tarveracademy.com. Click on PD and you get a free notes template, or you can take notes in your own doc. However you want to do it, take notes, write down stuff that's relevant to you, and copy paste stuff that people put in the chat. There's gonna be people in the chat that are way smarter than me. And so I'd love for you to copy paste that into the notes, and you can take that and make your teaching game elevate. So next thing, while we're getting logged in, people are still jumping in here. They're still jumping in the video, giving you a few minutes to do that. We're also, if you want to watch these videos, because after this ends, it's going to be gone off of here. However, I'm going to be putting all of these trainings, all like 30 something trainings. I think it's over like 120 hours worth of trainings. I'm putting all of that for people that join what I call the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. It's a small group of educators who are trying to get better every week, and I send out weekly emails during the school year to where you're getting templates, you're getting resources, back to school starter kits, you're getting templates for Google Forms, trainings, PDs, tons of stuff every single week delivered to your inbox. And also you have access to all of these trainings. That is available if you go to tarveracademy.com/honor roll if you want to. I think it's a great decision. It's a great decision. Nobody's in here. Who am I talking to? I'm not talking to anybody. Okay, y'all feel good? Y'all ready to start? Y'all feel good? This is a little warm up. We'll explain what's going on. Everybody feel good? 1 to 10. Put in the chat how you feel today. Or give me this. How about this? Give me an emoji emoji of how you're feeling today. That'd be better. 1 to 10, or give me an emoji. I'd love to see it. Or just give me a word. You're like, I don't want to do an emoji. Give me a word. How you feeling today? And let's get rolling. Remember, input in the chat. Take notes. Learn. Grow. Welcome to the best professional development that you're going to do. Not guaranteed, but it's an opinion, but it's also true, but it might be biased. But it's gonna be a great summer. It's gonna be a great training. Hope you guys learned something. Hope this adds you value that you can then bring to your students and make your school, your community, yourself better in some way. Guys, we're about to get started. Y'all excited? Y'all ready? We're about to do this. Let's get ready to learn and have fun. Tarver Academy. Let's go. Let's go. Hit it. Hit it. Let's go. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, leaders? How are you guys doing? If you're watching this, I'm assuming you are a principal, you're a central office administrator, you're a leader, you're an aspiring leader. You're somebody who wants to learn, how do I get into the role of leadership? And if I am in the role of leadership, how can I maximize my building, my employees, which then maximizes my student learning and the people in that building? How can I help the most people? Here's the thing. Most of us, we get into administration, we try to move up the ladder of education, not because like, oh, we want people to, respect our authority or do what we say. I would assume most of us get into these roles because if you're a teacher, you impact 20 to 150 students a day, okay? You impact that many students, or throughout the year, you impact that many students, okay? If you move into the role of a facilitator or a principal or assistant principal, you get the opportunity to oversee, anywhere from 10 to 100 or 200 teachers. Then that influences, anywhere from 100 to a few thousand students. And then you move to superintendent. Now you're influencing, thousands, if not tens of thousands of young people because of that pyramid of leadership. And it's one of the responsibilities why it's hard to be a leader, because so much relies on you and your decisions. And any decision you make up here is going to have a ripple effect, good or bad, on teachers and students and parents in the community. It's going to impact everybody. That's why it's super important as administrators to reflect on what we're doing, see why we're doing it, be as effective as we can in those roles, and then try to make ourselves better in order to make others better who make others better. I don't know if you guys have read in the chat. If you've read it, cool, let me know. It's John Maxwell's 5 Levels of Leadership. And he talks about how the best leaders are the ones that build up other leaders who build up other leaders. And I think school systems are set up perfectly to do just that. And so the role you have, or the role you want to have, that is a huge responsibility. And I think that if you are prepared to not only help others learn and grow, but to learn and grow yourself and always make things better, I think that you're going to see the biggest impact on your leadership in a positive way. And so I'm going to give you some thoughts on that a little bit here in a second. And I want to talk through today what to expect. That way, because your time is valuable, I don't want to waste your time. I want you to know what's coming. That way you can bounce if this is not what you want to be a part of and want to learn with. So the way today is set up is I'm going to start out with kind of like a talk. This is a chunk from a talk I gave to some educators at a conference, and I was talking about, authentic leadership in 2021. How do I lead in today's world? How do I lead in the current environment with the devices and technology and internet and all the things that are out there? How do I best lead my people? And to give you some context, you don't think like, oh, why is this 11th grader, who looks like he was running for student council vice president up here? I'm going to talk to it a little bit in a second, but to give you the quick recap, I taught. And then I was a director of technology / facilitator. And then I was a principal of a school that had a lot of online blended in-person learning. Then I went to central office and I was like an assistant superintendent. I shouldn't have that title of assistant superintendent. I had all the responsibilities though. I was director of curriculum instruction, communication technology, and personnel. It's the longest title ever. It looks super weird on business cards. And now I'm the dean of a college, so I run like a branch campus of a college. And I work with schools and I consult with schools. I work with teachers, make resources. I put stuff out there on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. My goal is to help as many educators as I can, because I know if you make the teachers better, you make everything better. You make the students better. And I think you guys know that. And so my goal is to try to help you in at least one way today to where you can take that, incorporate it, either an idea or a resource or a template. You take that and you make your school better through that. Okay. So the way it's going to roll out, the beginning, it's a talk that I gave on authentic leadership in 2021. I'm going to talk through that. After we get done with that, I'm really going to just kind of jump into resources and walkthroughs. And that's the idea, because as an ed, I've been in charge of budgets. I know that budgets are tight. And so all the resources I'm going to talk about today, yes, I have stuff that you could pay for. People that sign up for my honor roll, they sign up to where they can get resources and trainings all year. They sign up to where they can get access to trainings like this all year. That's my honor roll. If you hear me say honor roll, that's what that is. It's like a membership based on the teacher to where they can come in and they can learn on demand with everything we did this summer and everything I do in the future. It's there. So it's like I give a ton out for free, but then if you hear me say honor roll, that's the part that isn't. And then if I come speak at schools, I give them. Some schools and sometimes I will give them access to the honor roll for the year because of that. But we can talk about that later. I'm just giving you the heads up. If you hear me say honor roll, that's what I'm talking about, okay? But all these templates and all these resources that I'm going to talk about today, they are free. You can go get them. They're on my website, tarveracademy.com/resources. I'm going to give you those. I'm going to do full walkthroughs of 2 or 3 that I think are really important. But then I'm going to do like a kind of a rapid fire at the end because I want you to see what I've got. And that way you can take it, make a copy, and give it to your teachers or use it for yourself. I want it to be a resource that you can have because you are the instructional leader of your school. You guide that. If you push something or if you encourage something, that's much more of a chance of that happening than anybody else. And so I wanted to give you these free resources today that you can use and take and hand to your teachers. So after that, we're going to go through classroom discipline forms. Then, not just discipline in a negative way, I'm also, after that, going to do a training on positive discipline forms. Okay, sorry, my dog really wants to go outside, and I apologize for her yelling at you. After that, I want to do a really quick look at something called Autocrat. If nothing else you listen to today, listen to me talk about Autocrat. Autocrat, as an administrator, as a principal in central office, it saved me more time. It saved me hours a week of my life, of my job. It saved me that time because it automated stuff. If you learn anything this summer, if you learn anything this year, learn how to operate Autocrat to save yourself time, energy, and frustration. Okay? I'm going to do a quick look of Autocrat here. I actually originally was going to show you a chunk of my 3-hour Autocrat training. I was going to show you that, but I was like, you know what? If you want to go to the Autocrat training, I'm doing that. You can attend it's a 3-hour full walkthrough training on Autocrat. But what you're going to see today is like a 7 or 8 minute video kind of walking you through and showing you how to do it and what it's capable of. Okay? So if you like Autocrat, I've got a 3-hour training on that you can be a part of. Just hit me up or watch it. Check it out, tarveracademy.com/honor roll. That's where I've got all those trainings, okay? So after we do the quick look at Autocrat, which is a Google add-on, then I'm going to talk through some digital lesson plans. I don't know how you're doing lesson plans in your building, but maybe you need to rework it, okay? You need to make it to where it benefits you and the teachers and then the students. If you're just doing it for compliance, rethink that and fix it, okay? It's not okay. All right, I'm just gonna tell you, it's not okay. So we're gonna talk through some ideas for digital lesson plans, how to create them, how to use them, all of it. And then at the very end, I'm gonna do kind of what I call like a resource roundup, where I'm gonna walk you through a bunch of free resources and training things that you can have. They're completely free, okay? Again, if you hear me say honor roll, that's my like premium stuff that's like people pay on a yearly subscription to do that, which is totally cool if you wanna do that, but if not, all of the resources I'm going to show you today, they are free. Okay, so I don't want you to think like, okay, this is a free one or a paid one. If I say honor roll, it's the paid thing. If anything else I show you, all the resources, everything I really am going to talk about today is free, tarveracademy.com/resources. So I'm going to be quiet right now, and I'm about to talk in a second. This is a piece from a training I did on authentic leadership in 2021. I hope it adds you value to how you operate your procedures and systems, and I hope you enjoy it. So here we go. Tyler, I guess, is that weird to introduce myself? Tyler, take it away. Here we go. So we're talking about authentic leadership in 2021, or AKA how I survived 2020 and what I do with all these devices. What do I do with all this technology? I think that whenever we talk through technology and as I talk through leadership, a lot of you guys, you understand the importance of it. You understand the capabilities. It's like literally anything in the world. It can be used as an amazing tool that can make people's lives better, or it can be used as something negative. And one of the things that I've found in my journey of utilizing technology and using the internet and the just broad capabilities of everything that has, I think that it can have such an incredible impact on education, on students, on teachers, and the whole process of education. It's a game changer. And I know they've said that, I wasn't around, but when radio started, they were like, this is going to change everything. And then they're like, oh, well, TV, this is going to change everything. We're not going to need teachers. And the internet comes around and you've got teachers on YouTube, and it's just like the greatest educational tool in the history of the universe because anybody can contribute and teach. And, well, what about teachers? Here's the deal. We are more important than ever because we are the ones that facilitate the learning. And we're going to talk more about that and how we lead in a world where people have one of these and has access to pretty much everything, every type of information in the world from their phone. So if you want this presentation, I've linked to it down there at my website, tarveracademy.com/admin. You guys are leaders. And so I tossed all that there, and you can have it. You can duplicate it. You can delete my name out of it. You can make it your presentation. I'm okay with it. Anything I have, I want people to take and use because I just want to help contribute to this world of education. I'm a dean right now. I've been, a high school math teacher. I was a principal. The thing I want to talk about with regards to that whole, I feel like, do you ever feel like whenever people are reading that, I feel like I'm in like an interview, like I'm applying for a job. It's like, hire me. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. I want you to ask questions the whole time. If I don't answer it then, I'll come back to it and answer it with our time at the end. But any question about literally anything, I will talk about. You want to talk about, how to administer stuff, your best LMSs, or you want to talk about anything from the 90s, the greatest song in the 90s, throw that in the chat. I want to know in the chat, what is the greatest song from the 90s? And I mean, you can give your opinion, but there's only one correct answer. It's Donna Lewis, I Love You Always Forever. And I think it's hard to argue that. So the thing from the list of stuff I've done, the one that I really want to lean in on is whenever I was a principal, I became a principal of a 6th through 12th grade building, and we got waivers from the state. I live in Arkansas. It's hard to tell from my New York accent, but whenever I became a principal, we got waivers from the state to where we had in-person classes. So students were in person. We had blended learning classes, and we had fully online. So students could come in and work 2 days, and the rest of the week they're working from home. They could work from home the whole time. And anytime a student had a need, we would work around that utilizing technology. And so what that meant is when I was the principal of that, and also I was, you know how they do whenever it's like a new thing, they're like, well, you could probably do something else. So technically I was principal / lead teacher. So I was teaching like 100, I think it was like 160 something courses that I was the teacher for. And that meant I'm like going in after school and grading and emailing and contacting them, but then also like handling every discipline issue, talking to parents, running the school. And so in that process of being a principal and starting that school and doing all of that back in like 2013, I always talk about it, say we were doing 2020 before 2020 was cool. And so we were sitting there, we learned so much, made a ton of mistakes, did some stuff right, but we made so many mistakes and learned from those and grew. And it helped shape how I view leadership, especially in an ever-changing technology-driven world. Other than that, I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. My goal is to help teachers and make their life easier and save them time. So if there's ever anything I can do for you, holla at your boy. I'm your boy. I wore this for the 90s thing. I'm gonna have to take it off because I'm starting to sweat now. It's a 1996. This was my mom's windbreaker. We lived in Atlanta during the 96 Olympics, and she bought this windbreaker, and I straight stole it from her house. I'm gonna take it off because your boy is sweating. Okay, so another piece of context in case you guys want, because a lot of you guys, you're instructional specialists, you're building courses, you're probably either creating the content or you're guiding people who you guys are throwing out some songs that I'm like, literally, I'm trying to talk and all I can think is that song and I just want to sing it. And I'm not a good singer, so you don't want that. But I want to sing all of these songs. Oh my goodness, Carrie Strug. I'm sorry. This has now become the most important thing in the world. I use that quote all the time. If somebody does something well, I'm like, you stuck the landing like Carrie Strug. Because y'all remember whenever she like flipped, she caught it, she's on that one leg. Oh my goodness, Carrie Strug. She is underappreciated in this world. We need to, question. What do you guys think? Road trip, we're going to go hang out with Carrie Strug. Tyler, stay focused. Okay, another thing that might help if you want to throw questions into the Q&A, I am also finishing up my doctorate, and my dissertation is on how to engage learners in online educational videos. So I'm going through tons of research studies, how do we maximize student learning with video? How do we keep their attention? How do we engage them? So anything that you guys have questions on, I will tell you any personal experience I have from the thousands of YouTube videos I've made, or I'll try to help you from the research studies that other people have done on video. So throw those in the Q&A at any time. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure you guys can see me. Losing my religion. Is that REM? I think it was REM. Man, I love the 90s. So good. Okay. You guys are leaders. And some of you are like, well, I have a boss. Doesn't matter. You are a leader. Classroom teachers are leaders. People that are building courses are leaders. You guys are impacting other people in the learning of students, the learning of instructors, the learning of teachers, people in your building. You are impacting their learning. One of the traps we fall into as educators, because a lot of times we get into education, we're probably pretty decent at education. It kind of came not natural for us, but we either worked hard or it came natural for us, or a combination of the two, synergy. And we did well at education. Okay. So what we think is, in our mind, we think that, oh no, I have to have all the answers. When I was teaching high school math, when I started, I was teaching remedial classes, then I taught geometry, and then I was teaching honors algebra 2. And I was always terrified teaching honors algebra 2 because I'm like, I have not covered algebra 2. I was a history major and I taught high school math. I'm so terrified about going to teach honors algebra 2 that I would get that one kid, his name's Austin, and his mom's like a middle school librarian, and he's like sits on the front row and he's like, yes, Mr. Tarver, how do we do this? And I'm like, I don't know. I was so terrified that I would not know the answer to a question, and that would lower my value in my classroom. Now, whenever you are leading, whenever you're teaching a class, when you're building a course, when you're leading other teachers, whenever you're doing any type of leadership, we have to get out of the mindset that we as the leader have to have all the answers. We do not have to have all the answers. Okay. We need to change that mindset. We need to help people find the answers, because here's the deal. We heard that, that quote, it's about the journey, it's about the journey, not the destination. In education, our ultimate goal isn't just like, oh, cool, kid got an A on the test, they've succeeded. Yes, that's an indicator that they learned it, but that is the final point in the journey. We want the destination. We want that student to learn how to learn. We want that student to learn how to study, how to ask the right questions, how to problem solve, how to be a critical thinker. We want to help guide them during their journey so that whenever they get to the destination, that's not them finishing the race. That's just showing what they've built along that journey. So if we change our mindset, as opposed to us being the bearer of all answers, we don't have to. This has a ton of answers. Cell phones have a ton of answers. We need to teach people how to go and find that information, discern it, and then be critical thinkers out of what they're learning. And so we are not the hero. We are not the experts. We need to become the guide. Has anybody ever read StoryBrand, ever done anything whenever you are like, with regards to like Donald Miller, Business Made Simple? They have a StoryBrand model, and I love it. I love the thought process. And I think we as educators, we do it a lot naturally. If you're an educator or you're in higher education, you're in the business world, we do this. Anybody that rises to a level of leadership, they usually don't do it because they're selfish and they're always thinking of themselves. Okay. They do it because they empower and make others better. Those are the people that naturally rise to leadership. Now, granted, there are leaders sometimes that are just like, I'm an expert, blah, blah, blah. But they usually don't have teams under them because they don't need a team because they're the expert. The people that get put in charge of the most people are the ones that make other people better, that elevate others. Think of this. In Star Wars, who's the best Jedi in Empire Strikes Back? Who's the best Jedi? Yoda. Yoda's the best one. Dude's a boss as a Jedi. He's not the hero of the story. Luke Skywalker is. He's the guide. He helps Luke Skywalker rise to it. And the first one, in New Hope, it's Ben Kenobi. His job is to guide Luke to become the hero of the story. Whenever you are, Rudy. Y'all remember Rudy, the football one with Sean Astin? The guide in that is the janitor. He guides Rudy on the path to become the hero. We are the guide. The more you can become the guide in your in the story of your students' lives or your teachers' lives or the people you oversee, the more you can be the guide and make them the hero, the more success the entire team is going to have. Because we can make ourselves the hero and we can probably accomplish a lot because we're all fantastic. That was what they told me. They said, we've only invited the best people in the entire world to this panel and to this conference. And I was like, there's no question. I can see it in the chat. Okay. If we become the guide though, yes, we're going to do some stuff, but everybody is going to get better, which makes everything else better. Be the guide, not the hero. Okay. You do not have to have all of the answers. You can help guide people in getting the answers. Whenever I was teaching, I had one class at, we called it ALE, Alternative Learning Environment. This is like the dream team of kids in the school who did not like or do well at school. And so I'm sitting there and I had to teach math to these kids. In one period, I had to teach math to these young people. And they weren't all taking the same math course. I had like 2 or 3 in Algebra 1, 4 of them in geometry, 3 of them in Algebra 2, Algebra Connections, Algebra A, Algebra B, Trig Pre-Cal. So I have all these random classes. So it's like either I could water down algebra and we all just learn multi-step equations, or I can be a facilitator for some of the students. I can teach for others, and I can help guide them in how to learn and process their learning without me. And then I just answer questions or guide them on specific things. When you do this, you are opening it up to where 1, they're empowered to take over their own learning, and 2, they are learning how to learn in that process. And you also open it up to where you can help teach more students. I had students that would watch. Do y'all remember, like, I think I have one here. I think I've got one. Don't stay with me. Stay with me. Oh no, I don't have one. It's up here. It's up here. It doesn't matter. It's the scrolly wheel iPod. Y'all remember those? Did anybody in here have the scrolly wheel iPod with the video? My students had that when I started teaching, and I would upload chapters of geometry onto these little iPods, and they would sit there and watch it with their little headphones, and then I would facilitate the learning. It is okay for us not to be the original source of information. We have to get away as educators, as people that lead teams. We have to remember, we don't have to present people with that first line of learning. What we can do is we can help facilitate the conversation after that. If we can let go of our pride and think that we have to be the ones with all the answers, then we are allowing them to grow and learn in the process. In this process, as you're doing this, as you're leading or you're building, as you're doing anything, the world is, I'm not saying they recommend it. The world is demanding authenticity. They are not demanding perfection. As you're filming videos, as you're creating lessons, as you're building these courses, as you're teaching, as you're guiding teams, your team, your students, the people learning, they do not care if you are perfect. What was the app over in the chat? Tell me the app that blew up during the pandemic, in the quarantine. What app became the most popular app in the world? Oh, Zoom. Zoom is a great one. Zoom did for team meetings. But as far as social media goes, TikTok blew up. Here's why. TikTok strips away the overproduction. Instagram, everybody's like, oh, my Instagram, I brush up, I'll put on an outfit, I'll look fancy for one Instagram picture. People will go on a vacation because they want the Instagram pic. They want the gram pic. And it's this like perfectly curated version of our lives. It's our highlight reels. People don't want that. They want the behind the scenes. Has anybody ever watched the behind the scenes for a movie? A lot of times it's more interesting than the actual movie because you're seeing how it's made. And that's why TikTok blew up, because TikTok had a level of authenticity. You can see it all the time. People put a ton of effort in these highly produced TikTok videos and they tank because TikTok wants authenticity. The internet is seeing this huge trend towards authenticity. So as you're building content, don't think, oh, we have to have the perfect lighting. We have to do this. Yes, make it as clean and as good as you can with the resources you have. But don't keep that from helping you make the content that's going to help people. I have a TikTok. I've got a YouTube. I've got Instagram. I've been on Facebook. I've been on all these things for over a decade. I didn't do much on TikTok. And then I started putting educational stuff on TikTok. And I was just filming my phone. I can shoot and edit weddings. I can do professional videos. They don't want that. They want real, How can this help me? How can this add me value? And do not fake it. Do not be something you're not. As you're creating this, as you're building videos, as you're doing stuff, be you. Be authentic. Every popular YouTube creator, at some point, they get exposed for pretending to be something they're not because they were trying to play to an audience. The ones that stick around, the ones that have longevity, are the ones that don't ever pretend to be something else. It's like we don't demand perfection, we demand authenticity. So in everything you do, be authentic. Now, a lot of times we see people that are popular, people that are doing well, and we want to emulate that. It's okay to use them as a baseline. They just want to be, they're like, okay, I like the way they're doing it or what they're doing. It's okay to lean into that, but do not try to be like some cheap knockoff of them. Be you and add value to your audience through you. Here's the deal. So I wrote, this is not a pitch for a book. You don't have to buy it. I wrote a book. It's called The Baller Teacher Playbook. Okay. And I started out when I was outlining it, I was like, oh, because I love all these educators. I read, Ron Clark, Gary Brooks, like there's tons of educators, and I read a lot of their Sir Ken Robinson. I've read a ton of their books, and I love a lot of the stuff that they put out there. However, when I'm writing my book, I was sitting there writing it, and I was thinking to myself, like if I just go in and say, hey, do this, do this, do this, and I just kind of hit those high points, the thing that sets me apart, in my opinion, is like, not sets me apart, not like makes me better, but makes me different than them, is I lean hard into my personality, pop culture references. I lean into, like niche jokes and carrying off things. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to produce something, I want to make it not for everybody. I want to make it for the people that this is going to help tremendously. If you make something and you try to please everybody, you're going to end up pleasing nobody. But if you make something that is going to make some people not just like you, but love you, lean into that. Lean into your personality, lean into something that makes you unique, and make a deep impact with 1,000 people as opposed to a very shallow impact to 10,000 or 100,000 people. The deeper impact is going to see genuine change in people versus just like, oh, okay, cool, and then I move on. You want to have a real impact. The only way to do that is be authentic and lean into who you are. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but everybody's like, oh, we're, the world, social media is making the world terrible. It's making people bad. It's making us all bad people. No, it's not. It's exposing who we really are. The people that are like, oh, wow, their social media made them trash. No, they were trash before. Social media just showed the world that they were trash. We can't hide behind that. So I got the chance to work with a ton of superintendents. There's a lot of superintendents that aren't on social media. It's not because they don't think they can add value there. It's because they don't want to get exposed for the fact of what they do and don't know. Okay, that was rough, but none of you guys are superintendent. If you are superintendent, you're the good one. Okay, you're one of the good ones. So I know a lot of people in leadership roles that don't put it out there because they're afraid they're going to expose what they don't know, or that maybe they don't feel like they deserve the job that they got. Social media exposes and shows who we really are. Now, can people make mistakes? Yes. I'm not saying that's like, oh, everything you do, you like that photo, that's who you are. But it is an extension of your personality. We got to remember, people run social media. On the other side of these accounts are human beings. Just because it's a view or a number does not mean that that's not a person. Every view is a human being. Just like you guys on the Zoom, we're all human beings. If we were all sitting in a room in person together, we're all human beings. It's all the same. Just the tools to connect us is a little bit different. Now, so it was mentioned earlier that I'm a Google innovator. That's correct. I was selected with a group. I think there were 42 of us in 2019 that got the chance to go to Google headquarters in New York, and we get to spend a week there. And we proposed a project. We applied, proposed the project, a way to use Google to make either our community or our classroom or education better. And then some were approved. And out of all the educators in the United States, 42 of us got to go there. And we got to develop these projects. And we get to learn from people at Google. And we were guided by this process. And they had a really cool concept that I love to talk about, and that I think is a very novel way to think about things. They had something called a fail bell. We were sitting in these circular tables, groups of 6, and every table had a bell on it. We're working on these projects that we proposed that got approved by Google to be there. If at any point throughout the week we're working on our project and we realize, oh, wow, this could be better if I did this, or I need to drop this project because it already exists, or I'm doing this, but I don't think it's going to make as big of an impact as something else. We would ring that bell. We called it the fail bell. It means that we realized our project was going to fail in the way we had it on the current course it's on. Whenever anyone in that room heard a bell ringing, we all would start cheering. We were instructed to cheer when someone failed, because if someone showed that they found out that this is failing, you're right, it is part of the learning process. It means that they found that, yeah, this was great, good, great, whatever it was, but this is better. And they're willing to drop that idea and move on and do something better. Failure is not final. It's not the last chapter of our book unless we stop writing it. Whenever you're doing, somebody put in there, whenever I saw it, it was Chumbawamba. It was Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba, someone's favorite song. By the way, there are 2 CDs in the 90s that every human being owned. It was Chumbawamba's Tub Thumping and Space Jam soundtrack. We all owned it. Don't lie. We all own those 2 CDs. But in that song, there's a line. It says, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. If we apply that into how we learn, into how we are growing, we are always getting better. Here's the deal, guys. If I'm gonna be real with y'all, I'm 35. I was super not confident when I was a kid. I said sorry probably every other word. I should have patented the word sorry, because I was always apologizing for giving my opinion or thinking anything. Now, over time, it's like I've built up this confidence in certain areas, like 4 things. I don't know a lot about everything, but there's like 4 things that I feel like I know a lot about. If I'm sitting in a room and we're talking about one of those 4 things that I'm pretty confident in, and I think I have the best idea in the room, I'm like, this is what we should do. This is why we should do it. Here's my reasoning. I want to passionately back up my idea. I want to fight for my idea until I hear a better idea. If I'm sitting there and I'm pushing it and pushing it, and somebody else is like, well, what about this? I'm like, well, explain it to me. Why is that better? They explain it to me. I want to have the amount of mental capacity, the lack of pride to be like, oh my goodness, you are correct. That idea is better than my idea. I love my idea. It was the best idea in the room. We should have gone with it until I heard that. I dropped my idea and I go with that. As you're developing things, as you're working with a team, as you're guiding students, adults, whoever you're guiding, have the best idea in the room until you hear a better idea. And then drop your idea and move on. If we're doing that, then we're always going to be making things better. Okay. Oh, cool. Look at that. I promise it didn't have this. It must have been something whenever it converted. I'm not trash at graphic. I mean, I'm like medium at graphic design. Keys to modern leadership, and it got covered up. Efficiency. Here's the thing that technology does. Okay. There's 3 things that, in my opinion, that are super helpful with technology that we can all learn from. And if you can focus on it, it can help expand your universe faster and further. The first one is efficiency. Efficiency. Technology has allowed us to be more efficient in how we deliver content and how we grade content. I used to have to sit there and grade 100 bubble sheets for every math test I did. Now I can do Google Form. It'll auto grade. It'll send an automatic reply to my students as soon as they finish their test with their grade. And I can have video feedback based on every single answer they put that was incorrect or correct. It can automate that for me. And then that frees me up to work on community, to work on culture, to work with individual students. What technology does, if we leverage it correct, it allows us to go in and use that time in a way that might be more beneficial or go deeper with certain people that we wouldn't have before. So efficiency. Let's talk about efficiency. Here's what whenever I'm working with schools or consulting with people, this is what I like to, this is kind of the process I take them through. How many of you guys have heard this? You ask the question like, why do we still have this program, or why do we do this way? And they say, well, that's the way we've always done it. Has anybody ever heard that? I know none of us have ever heard that's the way we've always done it. But here's what I say. Anything you have, whether you created it or was created 20 years ago, anything you do, I try to go through this process. Any program you have, any structure you have, say, is it necessary? I work with a lot of educators, teachers. Every year, more stuff is given to teachers. Hey, we need you to do this. We need to start doing these lesson plans. We need you to start doing this evaluation system. You got to fill out this Bloom board. You have to go in and create this test account. Like, you have to do all these things. At what point are they like, okay, we're going to take this off your plate so we can put this on your plate? No, it's like we keep shoving the sloppy joes on it. Y'all remember that SNL? You want some sloppy joes? And so, no, that was Billy Madison. I know how you kids love your sloppy joes, and they just keep piling it on your plate. That's what it feels like for a lot of us on our plate. We keep handed stuff to do, but it's not like you were sitting there like, oh, I don't mind adding this 2 hours a week to my plate. I was just hanging out for 3 hours a day doing nothing, looking for something to be added. So to do that, we have to decide, is this program or these other programs we've been doing, are they necessary? If it's necessary to help students or to help people, keep it, okay? If it's not necessary, okay? And also, if it's necessary, think of this. If the Board of Education requires it, that falls under necessary. So there's stuff you're like, this is a waste of time, but we have to do it because we're told to do it. That falls under necessary. If it is, if you have to do it, is it making you better? Is it making other people better? Is it improving things? If it's just keeping things baseline, we need to change it. We got to reevaluate. We got to see if there's something better that we could do to make us better. And then if it is, how can it be more efficient? If you have to do it, it makes you better. How can we be more efficient? How can we trim up time? There's one thing every human on planet Earth has in common, and that's how much time is in their day. How can I start chipping away and freeing up that time and be more efficient? Easy one. Have anybody ever used Autocrat? If you use Google at all, if you use Gmail, Google Sheets, Docs, Forms, Slides, all that, Autocrat is an amazing add-on. Again, I don't work for Autocrat. I don't work for Google. This is just, I'm throwing this out there. Spend 20 minutes learning Autocrat. As an administrator, it saved me about 6 hours a week of work because of what it automated from people putting into Google Forms. Try to find programs and things that can help automate certain things, expedite certain things to save you time. Email templates. That's super helpful as well. That's going to expedite things as well. I've got some links in here. Again, it was tarveracademy.com/admin, and I've got links to this presentation. Download them, keep them. If you can't find them, email me. I'll send it to you. I want you guys to have these resources to help. I did this with PD, professional development. I was in charge of PD for our district when I went to central office. And I was noticing that my teachers were wasting a lot of their time filling out these forms on paper and handing it to a principal. And then they go to some PDs they don't need. And then I'm like, you have to go to this one. I already went to this one. And I was like, well, I didn't see your PD sheet. I didn't know you were going to go to that. I set it up to where it automates into a form, into a sheet. We all check off on it. It happens immediately, and it saves us time and frustration. Figure out the areas you can be more efficient and save time with different programs. One of the huge areas is video. In the chat, are you making videos? Are you recording any videos to instruct people on stuff or to help people with anything? Has anybody ever done this? Whenever you sit in a meeting, you spend 30 minutes or an hour and you sit there and you get out and you're like, this could have been an email. The video is the new, this could have been an email. Okay. Now, instead of sitting through a 1 hour training, you could make 10 3-minute videos, link to them on a website and say, hey guys, I need y'all to use this program. Here are the main things you're going to hit problems with. Let me know if you have a question beyond that. You saved everyone that hour. Some people didn't need the help. The people that do need the help are going to need it multiple times. And they have a location where they can go find it on their own. We now have the ability to differentiate based on what people need because of technology. Everything I try to do, I try to record it, because if I'm doing it, it might help somebody in the future or might make someone's life easier in the future. And I'm already doing the work. All I got to do is hit record. I'll tell you this. There's a research study that I just looked at recently that I was putting into my dissertation, where they did research based on like students. They did all these surveys for students on how they felt when their teacher provided videos of the lectures afterwards and when they didn't. Nothing extra. Teacher didn't have to learn how to edit. They didn't have to do anything. All they had to do was hit record on their phone or on a camera on their computer, hit record, do what they were already doing with the lecture, and then upload it somewhere. Literally 2 steps or 3 steps. Hit record, stop the video, upload. 3 steps. Students overwhelmingly said that it helped relieve anxiety and helped them with their courses? No. Did every student go in and go, I just watched it from beginning to end the whole time? No. But whenever they were about to go into their final, they went and reviewed these videos. There were concepts they didn't understand. They remembered it from in person, and then they got to go back and watch it and get that value as well. I had a student, and it's not just from your videos. You could supplement your learning with other videos. There's tons of YouTube videos. Has anybody ever heard of Crash Course? It is an educational tool, educational videos online. While in the chat, I want to know this. What is your favorite educational YouTube channel? Favorite educational YouTube channel? Crash Course. They have great YouTube videos. Every now and then they throw in a level 1 cuss word, so you got to be careful if you're, giving this to younger students. But we're sitting there. I had this young lady, and she was taking an AP U.S. history class, and she took the class and she made a 5, which is a great score on her AP exam. Now, not the rest of the students, they did not make that level of grade. So we were like, okay, we know she's smart, but how does she do so much better than the other students? So we met with her because she was 11th grade when she took it. We met with her as a senior, and we just chatted with her. Myself and another principal, we were like, hey, we're so proud of you. It's incredible what you did. What do you contribute your learning to? What do you contribute the success of you on that test to? And this is what she said. And this is a quote. I'm not changing this. I'm not trying to amp this up for you. She said, and I quote, 90% of what I learned for that AP exam, I learned in the 3 weeks leading up to it from Crash Course on YouTube. She learned from a YouTube video. Now, did she learn in class? I'm sure she did. Is she a smart young lady? Absolutely. But she took that on her own, watched those videos, reviewed, and made a 5 on that exam. We can use our videos and other educators' videos to supplement learning in a way that was not available whenever we were younger. I remember when I was a senior, I had to write a 12-page paper on the influence of the Norman invasion on the English language. I remember going to the public library and sitting there, and literally I had no clue what I was talking about. I'm searching in Norman invasion. I'm searching English language, and I'm looking for overlap. Now I could go on and probably watch a YouTube video of somebody breaking it down for me in 10 minutes and use that as a resource to kind of get the concepts and then go into deeper learning on different pages. We have this access. Why are we not using it? It's also a great way for you to go in, and and give these checkpoints with your students, with the people that work for you. I call this community connection. You can be more efficient. And this is a video from like 2013. When I was a principal, I had students with our school that were all over the place. Some were at home, some were in a couple periods a day, some were in the whole day. I didn't have a chance to do announcements. I didn't get a chance to see all those students. I wanted to build a connection, but also give them the announcements and their parents the announcements. Because believe it or not everything you give a student gets all the way home. So what I did was I would record, I'd pull a couple students in, we'd talk, joke around for 5 minutes, and I would read through the announcements and talk through what was coming up that day or that week. And then we made that a daily show, and I would email it to my students and they would watch it. We were able to build inside jokes, community connection, but also be informative with super easy. Like, this is not high quality. This is not a high quality video. It was done through like a Mac desktop computer. So it's not anything that's revolutionary. It's just us showing our personality, featuring other students to brag about them and show the stuff they're doing and connect with students. Find those areas that you can do that. Now, is there a way to make videos optimize on the engagement? Yes, I'm literally writing a paper on it right now. The framework for my dissertation, I'm using, it's Myers, his study on the cognitive theory of multimedia learning. And it talks about how we maximize the audio and the video, like what we're seeing and what we're hearing. How can we maximize that to connect with previous learning and maximize the engagement and the learning that's happening with people? As you get more comfortable with editing, as you get more comfortable with creating, these videos, you're going to start leaning into what works. Okay. And I actually have a template. If you want to screenshot this, or if you have access to it, here's a template you can use from this based on my research right now. It might change in 6 months, or, I think hopefully I'm done, defending within like 6 months. And it may change by the end of it, but this is what I'm finding is a decent template for creating a video. You want to start with branding because that's going to help tag who you are, but then you want to address them individually. Hey, how are you doing? Are you doing well? How can I help you? You say you. That's one of the problems. A simple thing to start a video. Don't be like, hey, everybody, I'm so glad you're here. They're not watching it in a room full of people. They're probably watching it on their cell phone, staring at it like this. So when you're talking, look down the camera and go, hey, how are you today? Are you having a good day? Did that right there, that 3 seconds, did that feel like I was talking to you? I hope so, because you're looking directly at me and I'm looking directly at you. Even though I could pre-record it, I could do it on Zoom. You want to talk to people. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Dr. Carpenter Turner. I appreciate that a lot. I hope I do well. Here's this if you want to screenshot it. And then I've actually got a template here if you want to use it. And I'll give that link if you need it later. And it kicks your brain back into gear. Absolutely. It triggers you back in to know that they're talking to you. Here's another one. This is a quick informational on when and how to do video. What am I trying to get across? Be as efficient as possible. There's another research study they did, and they did this with medical students. And so what they did was they took a class and they split the class in two. This chunk of students, they did a Zoom, Skype, I don't remember what it was. They did essentially this conference call with them as they're instructing. Okay, it wasn't a bunch of back and forth. It was them teaching synchronous. Then for the other ones, they recorded the video and they just said, hey, watch this on your own time. They did not see a significant difference in the learning between those two. Where they saw the significant increase in learning was whenever they had individual follow-up. So if we only have a certain amount of time, why not record the video, say, watch this, I'll handle individual questions. We've just freed ourselves up for 30 minutes or an hour whenever you could. We just freed ourselves up for that time so that now we can address people individually during that hour, as opposed to teaching or reteaching multiple times throughout the day. If we can be smart with our time, we can be more strategic with how we help grow people and help make them better. Easy ones to record with: Screencastify, Loom, Canva. They're all three super easy to record video and get different things from it. Another thing I did to save time, I made these cheat sheets for teachers, students, parents. It's like, hey, what are you struggling with in Google? And I didn't have time to do 1 hour Google trainings every single day. So what I did was I made all these, I made a few hundred videos, and I just said, hey, here's the stuff you're probably going to hit. Here's like a little cheat sheet for you to refer to whenever you hit a snag. And so whenever you're doing this, go in and you can have these, you can use these, or you can use them as inspiration to create cheat sheets for your own people. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Tiffany. Thank you for using those. All right, look at it. What is my graph? My graphic. I don't know why it shrunk that down. You know what? I'm going to blame whatever political party we don't like. That's who I'll blame. That's how we do things. I'm just kidding. Keys to modern leadership. Number 2, communication. This may be one of the, I put this in here because it's one of the top 3 most important. I think this is more important than efficiency. We have to communicate, we have to be approachable, and we have to be able to let people speak to us about what's going on in their life. We were looking at a study the other day, and they found that when everything shifted to online, to working at home, to working virtually, it wasn't the problem that a lot of people thought, where it was like, oh no, people are working at home, they're not going to do any work, they're just going to watch Netflix all day. Yeah, everybody watched Tiger King, but we also did a lot of work. They found that the issue is not that people aren't working enough, it's that they're working too much. When your home becomes your office, it blurs the lines on when do I start and when do I stop at work. If you drive to work and then drive home, there's a clear barrier of where work is and where home is. Now, with those being the same place, people are like, well, it's 7 o'clock, but I'm in my office, or I keep working here. They always think they're on. And what that's doing is, the second problem is they are becoming, it's affecting their mental health. So if you're a leader and your team is working at home, or if you're teaching and they're virtual, you need to, 1, communicate clear boundaries of when you expect them to be on. What are your at-home office hours? When are you working? When are you not working? And you need to not only defend when they work, defend when they don't need to work. One thing with my team is I'm like, guys, we got to stop texting about work after 5 p.m. I know that you're thinking of it. You don't want to forget about it. Send an email. Do not text. Because when you see that, you're going to do it. Whether you're hanging out with your family or you're doing a hobby or you're exercising, you're going to want to drop what you're doing to help, because we do want to help. We're helpful people, educators or people in our profession. We want to help people by nature. And what that can do is that can stress us out. And emotionally, we don't have that off button to where we can do that. So as a leader, you have to make sure you're reaching out to your people and you're telling them, you're communicating with them. Hey, how are you doing? For real, how are you doing? If you need help, I'm going to help you. If you need to cut back hours, let me know. We have to be approachable and communicate consistently and let them know this is important to us. What you repeatedly say is what matters to you. If all you're talking about is meeting this number or hitting this point, that's what people are going to think is the most important thing to you. But if you constantly are talking about how are we as a team, how are you doing emotionally, how can I help you? If you consistently say that, they're going to know it's important to you. I heard this quote the other day, said, nobody wants to do a bad job. They just don't know what they're supposed to do a good job. If you have people, we can all think of an employee or people that work with us or a student that isn't very good. We're like, oh, they're not very good. I don't think people want to do a bad job. They just don't understand how to do it. Think of, as a teacher, my worst discipline issues in class, they were not because a student was just wanting to be bad or wanting to cause disruption. It's because they didn't understand how to do the assignment, and their way of coping with not looking like they're dumb is to just act up. And that way the focus is off. I don't know how to do this. The focus is on, oh, look, I'm doing this and I'm going to try to get away with it. I had a teacher and he was constantly causing one of my principals issues. They were just like, he's not a good teacher. He doesn't try. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do this. He's not meeting these expectations. And I went to talk to him and I was like, hey man, because we had a pretty good relationship. I was like, you've got to up your game. He's like, I'm trying. What am I doing wrong? He's like, what are some ideas? And I was like, why don't you have your students make a song related to, whatever the country that they're studying is, and they can make a video on it. He's like, I can do that. I'm like, yes, you can do that. You have the liberty to be creative. He had gotten in a mindset where he thought there was only one way to do his job. We have to open up those doors so that they understand there are different options and different ways to impact people that they're working with. Surveys are a great way. Create Google Forms, do frequent surveys to gauge the people that you're working for and working with, to understand them. And I make them anonymous. I'm like, look, they're not. Some people are like, well, yeah, you could probably go in and figure out who it is. It's usually because you signed your name on it. It's not because I have it where it's like telling me who you are. We did a schedule. It was like it was called the Flex Mod schedule. And we tried it at our high school, and it gave students a lot of free time. I wanted to understand frequently, every 2 weeks, we did this survey with students and teachers. We wanted to find out, how do you like this? How can we make it better? We were constantly trying to improve it. We had people that loved it, and we had some people that hated it. And so it was very, very good way to reach out to the people that hated it and be like, how can we make this better? Another thing we tried to do, I tried to communicate with my teachers, because if you don't tell them, somebody's going to say something else. So we started doing a state of the district report. Every month, I would take in these questions. I would take in anything. Literally, they could ask us anything that we were doing in leadership. And I would put it on a Google Doc, and I would try to address every single thing that we were doing. Try to ask your people questions and then help clarify the things that they are not understanding. If you don't explain to them the reasoning or the intent, they will create their own narrative. One of my favorite quotes is, if you don't like what people are saying, change the conversation. It's from Mad Men. Whenever you have people, if you don't, this, anybody's worked in any organization ever, whenever leadership is not clear on the direction, the vision, the intent for decisions, people make up a narrative and it gets crazy. You have to be clear in what you're doing and always provide that narrative so people understand. And the last thing I want to talk about today is community. You have to build community among your people. If they don't feel like they're a part of it, they're never going to be fully bought in. So how can we build community in today's world? Okay, here's a great quote by Alice Keeler that I like. It says, good teachers can't be replaced by technology. Technology allows teachers to spend more time on the learners and on building relationships. The most important thing we do above communication, above efficiency, is we've got to build connections with the people that we work for and work with. If you do that, they're going to give you grace. They're going to be more approachable. They're going to tell you where you're lacking or you could be better at communication so that you can improve that or efficiency. If they feel like they're wasting their time and you have a good relationship, they'll tell you. If not, they're just going to complain about it to the person they work next to and never tell a person who can actually make a difference on what you're doing. Okay. Technology, you need to ask them to join the conversation. You need to feel like they have valid input. This goes for every organization. It goes for YouTubers. It goes for TikTokers. If you ignore the people you're serving, they're going to stop talking to you and they're eventually going to stop watching. You need to create community. And if you have, say you're an instructional facilitator, you're building a distance learning course, you need to make routine. It's not just all business. Learn this, take this, learn this, take this. You need to build community connection points. Hey, how are you guys doing? Oh, you know what? Before we get started today, I want to talk to you about my favorite pizza place. What is your favorite pizza place to eat at? Mine's Blaze Pizza. I love putting broccoli on my pizza. Sounds gross, but it tastes pretty good after it's heated up. So you need to I would then say, hey, I want to know your favorite pizza place. Toss it in the comments and then reply to the comments. Something that simple builds a connection point and helps them feel like they are a part of it. Another thing that you need to do in leadership, have everyone's back and let them know that you have their back. Does anybody remember Captain Planet? Speaking of 90s, does anybody remember Captain Planet? Captain Planet, he's our hero, taking villains down to zero. Is that right? Out of all the superheroes in all the world, Captain Planet is the most unrealistic superhero. And you're like, Superman's from a planet called Krypton and he can blah, blah. I get it. Some far-fetched stuff out there. Captain Planet is the most unreliable one to actually happen. And here's why. Captain Planet's entire existence depends on 5 teenagers with superpower rings being friends longer than 2 weeks. Whenever you are trying to build something of value, you need people to communicate and build authentic relationships and stick together, even when we frustrate each other. There were episodes of Captain Planet where that fire dude, he was a hothead. He would make some terrible decisions. He burned some stuff. And then everybody like Earth and Water got to bail him out. We make rash decisions, but if the relationship's there, we can forgive, learn, and grow from it. Remember, failure is not final as long as we communicate and we're willing to grow and learn. You are all on the same team. When I'd have parents call me ticked off when I was a principal, y'all are out to get my kid. I'd be like, here's how it started. I'd say, hey, here's the deal. I need to let you know my mission. My mission is to make your child and every child here as successful as they can be and help them as much as I can with the time I have them here. Is your job to also make your kid as successful as possible? Well, yes, it is. Awesome. Sounds like we're on the same team. Let's figure this out. I read this book. Have you ever read Never Split the Difference? It's this FBI negotiator, and he talks about whenever we get into an argument with somebody, it's not about me versus them. It's both of us versus the situation. We have to stop looking at things like it's us versus everybody else's opinion. It's all of us versus the situation. We want to solve that situation. We're going to work as a team, and authentic and genuine relationships is the way to do it. It's a lot easier to win when everybody's on your team. That's what's up. This is a very niche slide, but for 2 people, they're going to really respect it. Okay. Trust. Y'all remember trust falls? I don't think y'all can hear this. Do y'all remember trust falls? Whenever you close your eyes and somebody falls and you catch them. Here's this girl and this young lady. She's doing a trust fall with her sister. She's going to fall and her sister's going to catch her. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Fall into her arms. Boom. She's crying. She's upset. She's frustrated. She's mad about it. Here's the deal. Did her or her sister ever think at any point that young lady was going to get hurt? No, they didn't. They both had faith. They both trusted each other and they were going to follow through. What the problem was a lack of communication. We have to communicate. We have to communicate our intentions, our plan. I say this every time I'm in the room and I've got 2 people that are mad. 2 teachers are mad at each other. 2 administrators are mad at each other. If you have good people that are focused on the same mission and they're frustrated with each other, that is a lack of communication. All they need to do is they need to build that relationship to where they feel comfortable trusting each other because they communicate and they're willing to talk through their ideas and intentions. When you have two people mad at each other that are good people, it's because it's a lack of communication. We have to bridge that through solid relationships. Solid relationships. This is one of my favorite quotes. I used to ask this in all of our interviews. No significant learning occurs without a significant relationship. That goes for teachers to students, but also it goes from administrators and leaders to teachers. You're not going to grow and you're not going to help others grow unless there's a significant relationship there. Yes, they can learn a little bit. They can watch, people watch my YouTube videos all the time for math or technology or whatever it is, and they're probably learning something. But no significant learning occurs unless there's a significant relationship there. And that's what we need to work on first. And then we're going to see that learning grow as we go. Last thing, and then I want you to throw your questions in. It's not creepy because we're not in the same room with each other. What I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes right now. I want you to think of a leader or a teacher or a parent or somebody that made a huge impact on your life because you had a significant relationship with them, because they trusted you, they communicated with you, and they helped guide you to be the best you could be. Think of that person right now. Everybody got them? How can we better be that person for the people we're serving? Think of those traits and those qualities that they had, and then do your best to do that and communicate those and be that person for someone else. What up? Welcome back. Hey, Tyler here. How are you doing? How are you feeling? In the chat, let's do emoji check. And how are you feeling right now? Have you learned? Oh, no. To this point, what is something that you are going to try in your classroom or implement that you might not have wanted to, an hour or two ago? What is something you're wanting to implement in your classroom? Put that in the chat right now. I'd love to see it. I know the other people in the chat would love to see it. I know it'd be some great input. So throw that in the chat and then you can also copy paste and put in your notes, just so you don't forget. Make sure everything you're doing, you're keeping notes of. Keep links to it, all of it, because I want you guys to be able to access and actually make your classroom better. I've sat through enough PDs in my life, professional development in my life, that I don't remember one thing from. I pray that you walk through this. I am hoping that you get something out of this training that you can take and use, once a day, once a week, once a year, once a decade, something that you use and implement, whether it's a mindset or a skill set or just any type of framework to build your classroom and make things better. Okay? Speaking of making things better, making ourselves better, I do want to give you, some thoughts on something that I offer, a community that we have at Tarver Academy that I think could add you a ton of value. It could help you get better all year. Because right now we're getting better with PD, with professional development. Hopefully you're getting better right now. This summer you're going to hopefully glean some information, some knowledge, some experience, and you're going to get a little bit better. I want us to get better all year. I want us to get better all throughout the year. And here's the thing with teachers. We do not have time to go sit through a 6-hour professional development once a week. So what I did was I created a community called Tarver Academy. And it was based on teachers telling me they wanted resources. They wanted a continuation of these trainings, of templates, of resources. They wanted to be handed to them, because if you go out and search for it, you're gonna find random stuff. They wanted stuff that could be applied to their classroom, that they can sit there, bite-sized professional development for busy teachers. That's Tarver Academy on a roll. And I would love for you to join if you want to. If you don't have to, don't pay for it. It's not very expensive at all, but I don't want you to have to pay for it. I would rather you use your district's professional development money. So if you want, have them go in, order that for you. Hey, here's the deal. Okay, let me be real with you. So you are signed up for the premium summer PD. Okay, either you signed up for it yourself, your principal, your administrator signed you up for it, or your district or your co-op. There were some amazing co-ops, districts that jumped in and realized that this could add value and flexibility, because they're offering 3 different sessions throughout the summer. You have flexibility to watch from home, or maybe you're watching with a group, maybe you're watching in your classroom, wherever you're watching from. They wanted you to add that value, and I wanted to give you a huge discount on the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. This is just for this summer, and it's just for the people that are on the premium watches, okay? And so the premium watches, the premium PD, okay? And so if you're watching this, you're here, you're on it, okay? So what you can do is you can sign up at tarveracademy.com/honor roll, and I want you to use this like this promo code, when you sign up, use this promo code, it's gonna cut in half. And it's one time for the full year, and it's gonna cut in half. Remember, use your district money if you can. So just write the promo code down or put it in there and then get reimbursed, whatever you need to do. The promo code is premium because you've signed up for the premium summer PD, and so I want to give you half off. So what that is essentially, you or your district or your co-op or your building paid for the summer PD, and so what it is, you get half off for these honor roll resources that come to you every week for the entire year. They essentially, it paid for more than, it paid for half of this just because they signed you up for it, or you signed up for it. So it's actually a better deal than if you just like straight up bought it. But you'll get access to these trainings anytime you want throughout the entire year, plus anything new. I'm gonna send you something every single week to help make you better in your classroom, because when you get better, your students get better. In the email, every week, you're gonna get either a template, a resource, you're gonna get a short PD video, professional development, a training to show you how to do something you might not know how to do, or reinforce something you're maybe already trying. You're gonna get something that makes you better every week, plus some quick tips, links to some other things, and also you can ask me questions. I have a mailbag where you get to ask questions, and that's the list I'm gonna pick from first. I wanna help you guys. If I don't know how to do it, I'll do the research for you. I'll build, you're like, oh, I really wish I had a digital interactive notebook. Guess what I'll do? I'll go in and I'll build digital interactive notebooks, and I'll give you the template. You don't have to pay teachers. You don't have to go in and throw the money at anything. I wanna just hand it to you, and I wanna do trainings for you to help you. So if you wanna join that community, I think it's super helpful, and it's essentially where I become the tech facilitator for you. It's Netflix for teacher resources, and I would love for you to join and jump on that. So if you want, go there. It's tarveracademy.com/honorroll, and you can sign up for that. And I think it's just going to be a huge. It's going to be a huge help to teachers throughout the year who have a lot going on and not a lot of time, extra time to go out and do it. It's like as teachers, they always give you more stuff to do, but they don't give you like. All right, so hope that was good. Hope it was beneficial. Hope you liked that. Hope it was fun. You maybe learned something out of it. This next thing that we're going to talk about, I'm just going to do a walkthrough of a classroom discipline form. I use these as a principal. I handed it out to my teachers. They would fill it out. It would generate into an Autocrat, which we're talking about later. It would generate into one spreadsheet. It would create the email and document, but I've got a template for classroom discipline Google form. If you want it, it is free. tarveracademy.com/resources classroom discipline form. You can get this, make a copy. I won't have access to it, so you don't have to worry about privacy or security. I won't have access to it. You can give this to your teachers so they can submit their discipline directly to you, and you can get better every year. Look at all the data and keep getting better. It's all about reflecting and getting better, not just doing it because we do it. Reflect and get better. So here we go. Classroom discipline form walkthrough.
Today, we're going through this classroom discipline form. If you don't have one of these, I'm going to show you a template, give you a template, walk you through the whole process from making a copy of it all the way to editing it to fit your class, and also talk through some of the benefits of using it and to show you some of the results you get when you use it for a full year. Now, if your principal does not use this, I would recommend sending your principal this link because they need to be using something like this. If they pay for a program, that's fine. Some people like to pay for programs for this stuff, but either way, they should be using. If they're using those triplicate forms, those white, yellow, pink forms that I used to use when I first became a principal, don't use those. They're expensive and they don't give you the kind of data that this gives you. So I used to, when I was a principal, I gave this out to all of my teachers, and it gave us really good data that we could use to make changes, to make our school better, to help our teachers, to help our students. But also, even if your principal doesn't have one of these, you need one of these for your class. It is something you need to have as extra documentation. If you have a list of student discipline issues and you walk into a parent-teacher conference, you can hand this over to the parents and be like, hey, here's a list of things that your student did. You can send it to them once a week, once every 9 weeks, once a semester, or never. It's just documentation for you to have proof of whenever students act up in your class. Now, that's for parents. For principals, as someone who's been a teacher and someone who's been a principal or administrator, what I recommend is, because if little Johnny is in your class and little Johnny's acting up a little bit every day, it's a little bit every day. It's not enough to be like, oh, send him to the office. It's just like you're verbally correcting him or you're guiding him and he's still acting up. And then after 3 weeks, little Johnny like clicks a pen, does that, And then you're like, that's it, little Johnny, go to the office. And you send him to the principal's office. As a principal, when little Johnny comes in there, I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, I was clicking a pen. I'm like, that's it? He's like, yeah, I was just clicking a pen. He's not going to tell me the full story. He's not going to say that he was pushing your buttons. Get it? Pushing your buttons? He's not going to say he was pushing your buttons for 3 weeks every single day. He's going to talk about the last thing that got him sent there. But if you have your own classroom discipline form, you could just sort by his name, copy, paste in an email, send it to the principal. You have to have context to give your principal so that they can follow through in a way that makes sense to you. I've had so many teachers, I've seen it when I was a principal and when I was at central office happening to other principals, teachers that get frustrated because they have the context of every day for 45 minutes with this young student who's acting up. And then when they send it to the principal only has the last incident that got them sent there. So having this is something that gives context to your principal for anything that you need. So I'm going to walk you through getting the template. That's what we're going to do first. And then I'm going to walk through the template showing you changes you should make. So if you want, pause this video, walk through building that template as you go, okay? Build it, pause it, walk through each step with me, change it to fit your class. And then I'll show you how to put it and make it an easily accessible for you and reporting on your students. Okay, so let's make this screen bigger, make me smaller. All right, so I'm at tarveracademy.com and I'm going to click on resources. So tarveracademy.com, click on resources. It's also linked in my Instagram bio if you want to go to my Instagram. So we're going to roll down to classroom discipline form. Okay, now as soon as we get done with this, this will be over here under the walkthrough. Classroom discipline form. It is going to automatically prompt you to make a copy of this. You want to make a copy. All right. Once you do this, I do not have access. Even though I made this entire thing, I do not have access to this after you make a copy. Okay. Now you're going to need to be signed into Google because it's going to put it in your Google Drive. All right. Look up here in the upper right. That's the account that it went into. Make sure that's what you want. Okay. So this is a template. So we're going to go up here and we're going to title it first off, and you can title it whatever, Mr. Tarver's Classroom Discipline. That's shouldn't have that. Okay, Mr. Tarver's Classroom Discipline. Excellent. Now, I've got a little header on here. You can change this if you want. You could go up here to this little custom theme. You see this customized theme and click on that. That's going to give you the option. You can delete mine or you can leave it. It kind of hurts my feelings, but it's fine. It's whatever. You can change the theme color. You could upload your own photo. You can do whatever you want. Okay. Listen to your heart here. You can even change the font. Like it goes basic. You can go fancy. Oh, wow. Look how fancy. Formal. Hello. Welcome to, I don't know what British is formal. And then playful. So your choice. I'm going to go basic. And then I'm going to click this X to get out of here. Okay. You can delete this. That's just me telling you to make a copy of it because used to I couldn't force make a copy. Now it does. Now, for student name, I would not recommend having to type in the student's name every single time. I'm assuming that you got the Google form template that I gave you first of the year that is getting to know your students. If not, it is on that same resources page that I just showed you, tarveracademy.com/resources. You need to do that to get information about your students so that you can quickly do what I'm about to show you. So we want to put all the students' names in because we want to choose from a drop-down list. The reason is because if we ever misspell it or the spacing's wrong or whatever, whenever we put their names in, or if they have a nickname and they have a regular name, we end up putting different ones. We want to select from the same list because that's going to give us better data attached to each student. So I'm going to go to a list where I have student names. I'm going to click on the top one. Okay, I clicked on it and I let go. Pause if you need to, if I go too fast. Click on the top name. Hold the shift button. Now click on the bottom name. What that does is when you click something, hold shift and you click something else, it selects everything in between. Now I've got those all selected. Now I want to copy it. So if you're on a Mac, it's Command C. If you're on any other device, it's Control C. Okay, that's copy. Now I'm going to go back over here to my form and I'm going to change this to a drop down. And then I'm going to select the top option. Now I'm going to hit, if I'm on a Mac, I'm going to hit Command V, which is paste. If you're on anything else, it's Control V. Okay, so Command C is copy, Command V is paste. If you're on anything else besides a Mac, Control C is copy, Control V is paste. A lot of people don't know what the V stands for. It's like, why isn't it Control P? Control P is print. V stands for view. You are viewing what you copied. Okay. So what that does is that copy pastes all the names of my students into this dropdown. Now you're going to want to do that. Do not skip that part. Okay. Pause this and go do that. And then you can rewind it if you need to. Do you like how I have all Harry Potter character names except for like Jeff Goldblum? He's just like chilling. He like left Jurassic Park and went to Hogwarts. Okay. Now, after that, I've got it set up where it's grade. You can put this on there. If it's always the same grade, you don't have to put this on there. But if you teach multiple grades, it doesn't hurt to have it on there. And you could always delete certain ones. You could add, other grades if you need to. To add a grade, you select one, hit enter, and it's going to be able to add another grade. Okay. Then date of incident. Now, here's the deal. If you fill this Google form out immediately after it happens every time, you don't have to do this part. You can delete this by hitting that trash can, because what it does is this timestamps every single entry that you have. That allows you to, it allows it to tag whenever you submitted it. Now, we don't always get the chance to submit them all immediately after they happen. Sometimes it happens, we verbally correct somebody, and then we have to do something else. And then it's like 2 hours later or the next day, we remember and we go back. So date of incident, this is where you would select it and it's set up for you. Class period. I would cut out anything like, say I don't teach fourth and fifth, like I've got a prep and sports or something. I don't know. You can select it. You can title them. You could say third, geometry if you want. You could title them however fits your class the best. Okay. And you might even delete that altogether if it like you don't have class periods. You just want to put when it happened. When I was a principal, I had different teacher names in here. You could delete this whole thing because you're the only teacher that sees this. Now, if you share this with your entire team, which is not a bad idea, if you have like, say you're third grade and your students rotate classes, it would not be a bad idea to have be all in the same one. That way, like say little Johnny acts up in my class at the first part of the day, and then I send him to you. It's almost like he gets a brand new, a fresh slate. Is that what it's called? Clean slate. Clean slate. He gets a clean slate. I did not know that. I'm so sorry. He gets a clean slate with the next teacher and starts over. This way you guys could get a heads up and see if somebody was acting up class after class. So also, if this is just for you, I would delete this section right here. Now, behavior. This one is one you might have to go in and do some corrections on, okay? With behavior, I took this directly from my student handbook. So all of these situations, all of these are worded exactly like the student handbook. So whenever my teachers filled it out, I automatically knew where to tag that in the handbook. I would recommend going through your handbook and matching this up exactly with however it is. It might take you some time, but it's going to be worth it because when you send it off to your principal, they'll know how to classify what it is the student did. Okay. Excellent. Now, this next section, you can delete it if you want, but I think you should keep it. Also, I want to tell you why I did checkboxes here, because sometimes if a student like stands up and then they're mean to a kid and they're picking on them and then they cuss, that's two things. They're bullying and they were cursing. So that's two. Checkboxes right here allow you to select more than one option. So that's why, because sometimes most of the time it's more than one option. Okay, next section. You can delete this if you want, but I think it is very important to include positive behavior for students. And here's why. If I'm sitting down as a teacher with a parent and I'm talking about these 20 things their kid did wrong throughout the year, that a lot of times parents can see that as it's either demoralizing or they're going to say, well, you ignore all the good stuff my kid does. If you mark a few times a year that they did something positive, that shows that you actually notice when they do something good. So if I had 15 bad things, but 2 good things, those 15 bad, when I try to correct that, is going to go a lot further with parents than just like, oh, I'd only see the bad stuff your kid did. No, I saw when they were a leader. I saw when they were active listener. Like you can add and subtract things out of here. Also, I have a Google form that is just set apart, like it's a template for you guys. It's called positive behavior. It's like this, but it's only set up for positive behavior. And I've got like a list of a bunch of positive behaviors. So if you want that, you can have it, or you can combine them into the same form. So it's your call, but that template is on tarveracademy.com/resources. You can make a copy of it right now. Okay. Teacher intervention. What did you do? This is the one you're going to use most of the time as verbal warning. That's one reason I say if you're going to use this for your class, make this as compact as possible, because the longer this form is, the less you're going to want to fill it out for like a verbal warning. You're going to be like, it's just a verbal warning. Those are things you need to you need to mark. And this might change too if you're doing like a hybrid or a virtual class. You might have to mix this up a little bit, okay? And then the last one, describe the incident. This is where the only part where you have to do any writing really is right here where you're describing what happened. If you make this like an app on your phone where you can just click it and fill it out, that's pretty easy to do. And you just click on that and then you can just do voice. Okay? You can talk and let Siri do it. I always try to think of what's the most efficient way to do this stuff because I know like you're thinking, well, I'm not required to do classroom discipline. I know it could help me, but I'm not required to do it. I have a lot of extra time. I try to make this as quick as possible for you to be able to, monitor your classes and document what's happening. Okay. And then after that, you're done. So it would look like this. Y'all see what I did? I hit the little eyeball. That's your preview. And so I go here, and this is where I can choose my student from drop down. I can choose what grade they're in, date of incident. I will go through and pick all this stuff that I need to pick. Okay, excellent. I don't know why I clicked that. I didn't do positive and negative. Describe your answer, blah, 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 and then I would hit submit. Okay, so that's it. Now, here's the thing. You need an easy way to access this. I'm going to show you 2 ways to make this super accessible for you for your class. The first way is I'm going to hit refresh so I can clear this out. Okay, so I'm on my Google form. I want to hit this star. Do y'all see the star up here at the far right of your address bar? They call it an omnibox, but I'm going to click that and I'm going to add it to my bookmarks bar. That is going to be right here. So anytime I'm out here and I'm just like hanging out with all my stuff, I can click on this discipline, boom, and it pulls it up directly and I can fill it out. Okay, and so that's the quick way to do it. You can also, and I can't show you my whole screen, you can't see it. Actually, I guess I could. Watch this. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to tell you how to do it. It's super easy. You highlight the address, you click that, and you see, I don't know if you can see that, but you would click and drag that to your desktop and let go. It would then create a little icon and a quick link to this on the desktop of your computer. And if you need that, just like text me to that number right here. Text that number and say, hey, I don't know how to do that, or could you walk me through it? I made a video on this and I can text you the video if you just text that number and say, hey, can you give me the video on how to put it on my desktop? And I will do it and you're good to go. Okay, so you created the discipline form. Now I want to show you some of the benefits of doing this. Now I'm going to use some data from when I was a principal, but I'm not going to show any student names. Okay, so I've scrolled down past the student names. So in 1 year, we had 609 incidents. Okay, that's everything from verbal warning to everything. So out of all the students, we had 609. We get a breakdown right here. I was principal of 6th through 12th grade. Look at this. My 9th grade was over a third of my incidents for the whole year. Out of 7 grades, 9th grade was 1/3 of them. Okay, so what we did was we used this data because 9th graders lose their stinking minds when they get to high school. And so we used this data and went to the school board and we were like, hey, 9th graders, it's a transition year. It's very important. All their grades count towards their GPA. And this is where we're having the most discipline issues. We need to have either a 9th grade academy or we need to get a counselor who can focus on 9th graders and really work with them and getting through this year. And that's what we did. It was able to be data that we could use to verify to our school board that we need to move forward with this. And you can actually use this information and copy the chart. So you just hit this and copy the chart, and then you could paste it into, watch this. This is really cool. So when we did this, we built out like this entire presentation, and we were able to put it into like a Google Doc. So watch this. So if I hit new Google Doc, and then I could title it something like the case for 9th graders. And I could hit paste because I just copied it. And it's going to paste that whole chart in there. Give it a second. It's loading up. Don't quit on me. There it is. See? And it copies that chart and pastes it in there. I used to have to do this when I would do these reports. I would screenshot those and then have to drag them in. Now just copy paste. They've made it super easy to do that. Okay. Now we could go in here and look at dates of incidents. Like this is whenever they were most reported. We could look over here, April. Look at that. There were what is that? On April 28th, there were 15 instances, by far the most out of all the days we had. I could look here and say okay, most of our incidents happen in April, right here, this chunk right here. Why is that? Well, we just got done with 3 weeks worth of testing. Everybody's sick of everybody's face. Maybe we could do like a snow day on that day so we can all get a break, a 3-day weekend. Class period's happening right here. Second period was a majority of our issues. So you know what we did? We incorporated a grab and go breakfast after first period. Students weren't eating breakfast. They were getting agitated on second period. So we took the first 10 minutes of second period. That allowed them to eat, hang out with their teachers, build rapport. And we know that whenever students have a connection with the teacher, we see less issues in those classes. So we are using all of this data to make ourselves better. So if I know in Arkansas, they use TESS, TESS, to do like their teacher evaluation systems. And so this data, you could look at this and be like, okay, I need to do this, this, and this professional development to get better because, this is the areas I'm obviously struggling with. Teacher's name. Smith is a great teacher. We had him on there because he had some of our students that struggle a little bit more. Okay. Also, I want to point out, I know this says weapons violation. It says 140, that we had 0 weapons violations. This 140 is trying to sleep in class. That is a majority of what we had issues with. So there were a lot of verbal warnings trying to get students to focus. But we could use all this stuff. Like we looked on it and we saw that we had a huge chunk of cell phone. We had a no cell phone policy. We had a lot of issues with cell phones. So we're like, okay, well, let's try some stuff. So we actually told the students for 9 weeks, we're going to allow you to have your cell phone in between classes and at lunch and give it a shot. Like you just have to stay off it during class period. And if this goes down, these issues go down, we'll let you keep using it. And they did. And it was a great thing that we could try. So it allows you to try things based on data. A lot of verbal warnings. I could see how many chances we're giving, what that looks like. And you can actually get even more data out of this if you run individualized reports. Okay. I would scroll up and show you those, but it might show you students' names, and I don't want to do that. Okay. So that is the walkthrough of the classroom discipline forum. I hope this helped. I hope it gave you some clarity on things you could do in your class to record and document. That's the thing. The key with this is you need to have documentation for students, especially if it's virtual. You need to have like a quick, I can fill this out during class if a student's not paying attention, or if I like say they have their camera turned off, which is fine in a lot of situations based on whatever the student's needs are. But if they have their camera turned off and I call on them and they're not responding, it means that they've stepped away or they're not listening. And so that's something you could report on here. So it gives you data. That's the thing, guys. You've got to have documentation as teachers. I know this from principal and a central office administrator. I need documentation when you bring me stuff. It goes so much further instead of like, well, he did this or he did this or she did this or she did this. You need documentation, guys. It's super important.
Okay, here we go. Next one. This next one is a quick session on Autocrat. If you're not using Autocrat, you need to. You're like, well, I don't know how to do it. Learn it, okay? I'm about to show you in 7 or 8 minutes. You can probably Google it. I've got a 3-hour training where I walk through doing Autocrat with discipline, with truancy, and with something else. Full walkthroughs. If you want that, I've got it, okay? It's available. Watch the training. Depending on when you're watching this, it might be following up this training, okay? If not, I'm going to have it on the honor roll. You can check it out, tarveracademy.com/honor roll. If not, Google somebody, learn Autocrat. It will save you minimum an hour a week of your life. Probably closer to 6 to 7 hours if you're spending as much time as I did doing all that infrastructure stuff of operating a building. So, just a quick look at Autocrat. It's a Google add-on coming right up. What up? Tyler here, and I want to show you how to use Autocrat. Autocrat is essentially an automated email system that you can create emails based on what people put into a Google form. So there are multiples to use. I've used this one. We'll show you how to use it. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing you do if you want to build this is build whatever you want to automatically be emailed to someone else. You can make it output as a PDF or editable Google Doc or a couple other things. So whenever you're picking it, look through. The key thing on this is whenever you want something to autofill from the form, make sure you put it between those little arrows, the greater than and less than signs. And so I always put what I want to go in there inside those 2 sets so that I know exactly where that's going to go when I'm inputting into Autocrat. You're going to see here in a second. So the next thing you do is you create a Google form. So I created this one. It's a skip notifier. If kids skip a class period, I want it to email them, letting them know they have detention. So there's the form. You create it, put all the information you want in it. Next, you're going to go to your spreadsheet that creates out of the Google form. And so once you're in there, go to add-ons. If you don't have Autocrat, go into the Google store and find it. Then we're going to open it. So once you're in Autocrat, it's fairly intuitive. The steps you go through, I believe there's 7 or 8 steps. And so we're going to kind of walk through a couple of those through one I've already created. And then you can go through and create one that adapts to what you want. Now, nothing can autofill unless you put those greater than and less than signs. If you can't tell, I'm stalling. Okay. So I'm going to go and edit and show you what this one looks like. You're going to want to create a new one in the lower right where it says new. Okay, so the first thing is you want to name it. This part really doesn't matter. You're just saying it so you can find it later. Next thing you're going to do is you got to find that template. All right, I've got my template already attached to the skip notification form, this little guy. All right, so pull that in, choose from your drive, and go find that template. Next, I want to map the source data to the template in whatever I want to autofill from the questions in the form. So, for instance, right here, I want under first name, I want student first name to populate. Under last name, I want the student last name to populate. And then you just roll through. As long as you label these right here correctly, then it's going to be a lot easier for you in the long run. When I first started, I did numbers. Terrible idea. Because the tutorial I said, said to do that. Don't do that. All right, so whenever you're in there, go to File Settings. You can even have it auto-populate in the file and email names. So all you do is put them inside your greater than and less than brackets. And so whenever you're over here, you can select it, and that'll automatically copy it, and then you can just paste it in there. Okay, I don't want to. I want it to be student's first name, last name, and then it says morning detention notifications. So students know it's important from the file. I can choose what I want it to export as. I go with PDF so they can't change it and say, well, my doc says this. Well, no, it doesn't. It's a PDF. Next, I choose the destination folder. That's going to pick the folder that they're going to all drop into so I can go back and look for them later. That's in my own drive. Dynamic folder reference, I don't use this because I don't know how. If I did, I would show you. I've tried to use it a few times. It's a little more advanced feature. And so let's set the merge option. I don't want any conditions. I want it to automatically send as soon as someone submits a form. Okay, so when it sends it, this is the part where I choose what's going to look like whenever someone shares it. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to select Share Doc. Yepers. I want it to go out as a PDF. Allow them to reshare. No. So send from generic, no reply. If you do that, that means that it doesn't come from your email. That way you don't get replies from kids or whoever you're sending it to. It'll just go from no reply at your organization or at whatever. So it'll no reply you. All right. Here I pick where I want it to go, who I want it to go to, and I want it to go to the student's email address. You can also CC the teacher's name if you want to, or whoever submitted the form. All right, and so we go in. I listed all the information I want to be sent, and it goes through. I want it to run on the form trigger. That means as soon as they submit the form, I want it to run. So save, and that's it. Now, let's see what it looks like whenever they submit. I've already filled out the information for a student. I hit submit. Skip notifier. Your response has been recorded. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you to say. My thanks for the update. Forget that. I have to cut that part out. Okay. Now, in my email, I have to wait for that. Tyler, you're going to have to cut this. Sorry, bro. Okay, so it's gone into my email from no reply. Important, Draco Malfoy. That's the student's name I put in there. He's always getting in trouble. Morning detention notification. I click on it. It is autofilled. You have received morning detention for missing an MLT or SLT, mandatory learning time. Refer to attached PDF and where to go and when, etc. I click on the PDF. It is from my template. It has created this. It has filled in the name. It has filled in the time I missed, the date. Everything that I want to go in there is automatically filled. Autocrat is incredible for bypassing what used to humans had to input and put in. It goes automatically from these forms. And so it's a great way to expedite your process, save you time to where you can focus on students, learning, or whatever else you're doing with your time. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hope it helped. Bye. All right, now the next thing we're going to talk about are lesson plans. Lesson plans are extremely important, but they can also be an extreme waste of time if you're not doing them correctly. I've got 2 or 3 templates, 2 or 3, that's how numbers work, 2 or 3 templates on my website, tarveracademy.com/resources. I've got some that are like kind of generic, probably for younger, older, middle level. It could be for anybody. They're pretty generic. Then I've got some that I think are probably geared more towards high school. And then I've got some that are like Google Sheet. The other 2 are in Google Slides and some in Google Sheets. If you want those, go for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through creating and then using a lesson plan template for you so you can figure out how to make one that actually teachers can improve on every year. And they don't have to share with you every week. They can share with you once. You can organize it and then you can go look at it anytime you want. You can add in comments, you can add in things that connect them, and then they answer the questions. It's just a better way to operate. So we're about to roll into that. So here we go. How to do digital lesson plans coming up. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler here, and I'm so excited. We are about to learn how to create some solid lesson plans and then how to import that into Google Slides so that we can update it and keep it rolling and modify it and make it a living, breathing document that can be shared, collaborated, or you can just use to make yourself better every year. Do not make your lesson plans absolute trash that are just a waste of your time and a waste of your principal's time. Let's make our lesson plans to where they are helpful and that they make our life easier and organized. And even if you want, clear communication with your students, the parents of your students, and your fellow teachers and your administrators. Like, everybody can be on the same page without having to send them emails. Like, I'll give you the link once, go to the Google slide, you can give updates, thoughts, comments, or just know and stay in the loop. So, in the loop, Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and start here. Canva has a lot of really fantastic. Let me give you the link. If you don't have the link, I'm going to toss it in there. Check out this. I'm going around my camera. Sorry, duck around my camera. There we go. So I'm going to toss the link on the screen. It is bit.ly/Tarver Canva. Okay, they have free accounts. They have education, which is like the premium version, and it's free for educators if you prove that you are an educator. And then they have the premium accounts. All of them are fantastic. Okay, so here we go. So go to that link, sign up for an account if you haven't already, and you can follow along. I would love if you did follow along. I think that would be fantastic. If not, that's totally cool. So let's do. My goal is I'm going to make a generic lesson plan. You can even get more specific and detailed, like put your name in it, put a photo of yourself. You can do whatever you want in the video. So let's do lesson plan. Here we go. We're going to go. Look at that. Boom. Canva's got a ton of templates already made that you can edit and adapt and make what you want. Okay. We want to go with a regular piece of paper. Now, you could print these off. My thoughts are it's going to be more helpful if you can make it to where you can click the links. Paper, like here we go. Check this. Paper, it's hard to click the links on paper. Okay. I love paper. You just saw me. I have a notebook I use every day. But let's see how we want to split this up. I want this. Ooh, this one's not bad. We're going to look around at some templates and see which one we like the most. Let's see. I've got it right now in 1, 2, which we can adjust the categories. Let's see. This one doesn't look bad. This one's pretty clean. Let's do this one. This one's not bad. And I can adjust my backgrounds. Okay. So when I click on it, what it does is it makes a copy of that for me in Canva. And now I'm going to be able to go and edit my version of this. So good. So great. Right? So good. So great. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to call it, well, it's not going to put a date on it. I'll just put lesson plan right here. And then I would put Mr. Tarver's class, but I want this to be able to be used by anybody. You know what? There we go. Yeah, let's do this. So what we'll do is we'll have the class period on there. I think that can stay. I think that's pretty solid. Let's change the background, make it look like stuff that I do. I have kind of a look and feel. So we can go to my folders and we'll go to got some baller stuff for some baller teachers. Baller teacher playbook. What's up? Let's do this. How cool would this be? Okay. I'm tossing that on there. Definitely going to toss my logo, my certified baller teacher on there. I'll give it to you guys. Okay. So here we go. Let's do this hardwood background. I'm going to just drag it over and I'm going to drop it. There we go. Oh, there we go. Now I need to change this color, make it a little bit darker. There we go. There we go. And now I'm going to add, what do you think? Should we add this? That one's pretty cool. Let's do both. Why not? You know what? It's our lesson plan. We can do whatever we want. So let's go take this. Let's put it right here. And then we're going to move lesson plan here. All I'm doing is clicking and dragging. This is super, super user-friendly. Okay. And then if I want to add this in, I've already imported these in. So I can just click and it adds it in. I'm going to say you're a certified baller teacher because you are. How's that? There we go. Certified baller teachers. my template. I guess I can do whatever I want. Okay. Is that too much? It feels like too much. I'm just going to leave that. We'll leave that on there. And we'll do this. Lesson plan. There we go. And it gives you some room to play with it. If you want to put something up here, you can put your name in there. It's all up to you. And I'm going to show you how to do that in Google Slides. So what would it be important? Let's see. I have class period. I think that's important. But I need some more stuff in there. So I'm going to move this circle over. So we got class period. What else? I think we should do whatever week it is. Wouldn't that be helpful? Move it up. Oh, you know, it'd be sick. Okay, I got an idea. Watch this. Okay, so we're going to move that. All I did, to do that, I'm going to explain how to do that. So I selected all of this, click, drag, and select. Then on your keyboard, you can hold the Option button. And then when you click and drag it off of it, it creates a new one. Okay? There we go. Okay, and then we can just say, want to put up here, want to put week number. And so then you can put in the week. Let's see. So week, I would say day. How about this? Let's put day. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a Monday. Oh no. I don't want to be bigger. I just want to go further out. There we go. Nope, that's not working. Let's try this. Oh my goodness. Can I zoom in? Okay. We're just going to go here and I'll just make the text smaller. Okay. So I don't want that day to be so ginormous. So what size are these? I'm clicking on it. It's 13.2. So we're going to make this one 13.2. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to add it to where you can, in my mind, I'm going to make it where it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then when I make my Google slide, I'm going to do it to where you can drag like a circle over the top of it. I think that'll be kind of fun, right? Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday. Give me a 0. I don't want a 0. Okay, so we're going to copy the space in there. I'm going to put it right here. Okay, if you're doing this with me, we're doing it. You're adjusting whatever you want. This will be Thursday and Friday. Oh, no, not find. Friday. In the comments, 1 to 10, how much did you love that song Friday? Okay, I'm spacing these out a little bit more. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's going to help you get an idea of your week. There you go. Those look spaced out. They look different. Is that better? Those look pretty even. I think we can use one more here. Sorry, you're getting to see the process of creation. So, okay, that definitely doesn't look right. Okay, remember, undo is Control Z if you're on a PC or a Chromebook. It is Command Z if you're on a Mac. Okay, we're rolling. We're rolling, people. We're rolling. Here we go. Okay, so we've got our lesson plan. I think we can actually make this even bigger. Okay, so we've got our date. We're going to be able to drag and drop a circle over it. We got our week number, which we can just write in. Let's see, class period. What do we need to do? Class period. I think that's good. You could say if it's like a specific class period, and we're going to make it with the Google Slides. So you can build it out. You can shrink it down. You can have the options to adjust that however you want. Okay. Should I put like another logo in? I love the Baller Teacher logos. Steven Overturf, shout out. So we could do Baller Teacher logo. What do you think? Does that look pretty sick or not? Baller Teacher logo. Hey, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Y'all like that? If you don't like it, I mean, just don't use the template, okay? Baller Teacher lesson plan. I mean, that's pretty sick, right? Do we like that? I mean, I kind of like it. Maybe I'm a little, what is it? Biased? Because, it's the logo to my book. Baller Teacher lesson plan. Let's just stick with it. Is that cool? I don't know what looks good. I'm not a designer. If there's any designers out there, please don't criticize me. I'm doing my best here. Okay, so here we go. I think that's too much. That's too crowded. We're going to delete it. I'm sorry. I keep wanting to make fetch happen. Quit trying to make fetch happen, Tyler. Okay, lesson plan. We got the week number. We've got the class period. You know what we should put up here? Unit. Okay, so I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. We're going to move this up. And then I think I'm going to try to fit this in under here. Let's see if this fits. Can we do this? Is this happening? We're making fetch happen? Nope, it's too scrunched. Let's go down a little bit. Okay. We're going to hit the up. If you select it, you can go up a little bit. It's going to, look at that. That's not bad. I'm going to make this go down a little bit. There we go. We're getting our spacing. Okay. Okay, so we got the week number, we got the day, we got the class period. So let's do, is there anything else? Anything else? Throw in the chat, what are some other things that we could toss on here? If somebody's making one of these in real time. I said units, so we'll do that here. So I'm going to toss that option over. I'm just going to drag and drop. So that creates this. And I can change this to unit. Okay, I want you to be able to put in like, oh, we're doing chapter 5, or we're doing, you know, American Revolution. Okay. There we go. Make this. Okay. Okay. Spacing is really wigging me out, and I apologize if it looks trashy. Okay. So we've got week number, day, class period, unit. Let's see what else. We could use, let me think. We could do, okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. We got objectives, I think that's solid. And then this could be overview. I kind of like overview, to be honest with you. And then we've got warm up, presentation, and assessments. Here's what I'm thinking. A lot of times the warm up is just like a link to something, like a link to a video or something you've done. I think presentation also is link. And then assessment, I think that's a link as well. Because a lot of times, like we're not going to write in a lot of this. We're going to link to it because I'm thinking this is like a virtual activity. So here's what I want to do. I want to make them to where they're all links. Okay, so we're going to shrink this down. Okay, I'm going to call this, what did I say? We've got objectives, we've got overview. Should that be standards? I think there should be standards, right? Let's do that. It's so important. Everybody cares about standards. All right. Then I've got like an idea of some things I could throw in there. So let's do warm up. And actually, I'm going to get rid of these dots. Like I'm just thinking through, what does this look like? You know what you could do if you wanted to? If you made a lesson plan you liked, you could create it in Canva and then just use that template to build out, you know, you could build out like every day, go in and like add the page or duplicate the page and put it in. I wouldn't, but you could. You have options. Should I put teacher name? Well, you know who you are. You know who you are. Okay, so let's take this warm up section and we're going to make a copy. I'm holding option and dragging the new copy here. And then I'm going to go and do another one. Option, drag the copy here. Okay. And then I'm going to say, we got warm up is good. We're going to do, then we could do presentation. So how do you present it? Either video links or maybe what else? Could be presentation, could be a video link, could be linked to next to your website, could be your video, could be a slideshow, whatever. And then I think we do assessments. Oh, well, I got assessments at the bottom. Presentation. Let's call this one supplementary resources. Supplementary resources. Supplementary, my dear Watson. We'll just put supplementary. Okay. And I've got the opening to Guardians of the Galaxy stuck in my head. So let's move this up. Okay. It looks like it's pretty even. Okay. So I've got assessment and exams. I don't know why that's on here. I say this is going to be reflection. So is there anything else in my notes I think is important? For reflection, put assessment, presentation, warm-up, objectives. I think all this is pretty good. Are you guys cool with all this? Let's move this down because we're a little scrunched up. Here we go. We're going to go take all this, click and drag, and then we're going to move this down here. Let's do it right here. And then, you know what? We'll give me a shout out because, you know, I made it. I mean, why not? It's mine. Let's take this. I'm going to hold option, make a copy. And then I'm going to be like, that's too much. I'm just going to go at $Tarver and then we can do tarveracademy.com. And then we're going to shrink this down because we don't want myself being thrown out there like this. So we're going to shrink that down. It's okay. If you make a resource, if you're creating a resource, it is okay to say, hey, I made this resource. You know, like I think that's perfectly fine. But then again, I guess that's my opinion. Y'all seen that? Have y'all seen that meme where it's like, that's my opinion. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we toss that in there. If anybody wants it, there they go. Okay, there you go. All right, so we've got that. Let's make this like a little bit bigger because, you know, y'all are ball that teaches. Let's see. I wonder if we should do like an outline on this thing. What do y'all think? Would it look good? I don't think so. I think we're good. Let's keep it simple. Let's make sure all of our stuff's lined up. Does this look like it's got our spacing correct? There we go. Now it's better. How are these? We could spread these out a little bit. You know, we scrunched them up a little to fit everything in. So let's see. Go up, and goes up, goes down. All right, there we go. Class period. So right here, this will be like your informational stuff with regards to like when this is happening, like week, day, class period. And then this is the unit. Should I put subject? Ooh, subject should be up here. Yep, I think we should. Let's do this. We're going to do one more of these blocks. We're going to do option. Actually, maybe subject should go over here because this is our location stuff, like date and time and everything. And then maybe this over here should be our subject area. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this up. And then I'm going to duplicate this, hold option, go up. I don't want to do too much. That's the thing with whenever you create anything for teachers, it's not like we have a ton of time. Subject. Should be subject or course. Yeah, let's do subject. Actually, course. I'm sorry. I talked myself out of it. Okay. Of course. There we go. Okay. So I think we've got on the left side, I think we do a good job of saying like, hey, here's when this is happening. On the right side, I think we do a good job of that one. I'm going to change the color of this to give it some variation. So let's take this. I'm going to hit the text. Then I'm going to change that color to, let's do this. There we go. That way it pops a little bit. And then I'm going to put one space here because this is wigging me out. Is that good? It's too much? Okay, the M and the T look like they have too much space. Sorry, I'm just trying to fill this out. Okay, I think I literally just undid everything that I did. Okay, so there we go. I think that's pretty good. Lesson plan. I feel pretty solid about it. Sweet. Okay, so now here's what we want to do. We are done with it in Canva. We're done with building this. This is the background. Now, I could print this off and make this, hey, there's your lesson plan, print it off. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to hit download. You do not, because I want to put this as a background in Google Slides. I do not want to do this as a PDF. Now, you could save it as PDF. Say you just want to print it. It'll give you higher, like clear printing stuff. But I think what I want to do is I want to do a PNG or a JPEG. I'm going to go PNG just because I think it's higher quality for you save some space. I'm going to download. Let that download. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we are going to create, we're going to put it in a Google Drive, or not a Google Drive. We are going to put it in our Google Drive, but we're going to put that into a Google Slide. So what I recommend, whenever you're making this, do not start with a blank Google Slide. Use something you've already done, copy it, and then adjust that. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to do, I think I've got, do I have a folder just for, nope, templates on slides. So I do have a folder for slides. So we're going to go here. And I want to go in and I want to make a copy of lesson plans. There we go. And we'll just do weekly lesson plans because I've been making stuff in full semester, but I don't think people care about that, to be honest with you. So we'll just do weekly lesson plans. I'm going to do right click. I'm going to do make a copy. Remember, do not start from scratch. You can use any of my templates. They're all linked to my website. Tarver Academy. I didn't take this off. I'm sorry. tarveracademy.com/resources. If you want any lesson plans, any of that stuff, it's all there. And if you're on the honor roll, you know, you're going to get that. So tarveracademy.com/resources. Start it, make a copy. I give you permission. make a copy of that stuff, and then adapt them to fit what you need in your class. Okay? Sweet. So lesson plans. We'll call this one, how do I want to title this? Because I've already got some lesson plans, but I need to, how could I title? I could title this, trying to think of something that differentiates. These honestly look more high schooly than my last ones. My last lesson plans, these are more, they feel more, 6th, 7th grade and down. So I think that maybe we can do high school lesson plans here. And that's how we'll title those. So we'll do high school. All right. And there's just some info about me. I put this on all my templates that I give out for free and just helps them out. So here's the reason. I've already got my backgrounds kind of set up. I've got, look at this. I've already got my templates. I could pull down and use any of my navigation stuff I've created. You have access to all this if you go make a copy of one of my free resources. So you'll have access to all of these slides and templates that I've made. Now, we go in. I'm going to do this. I feel like this is all pretty clean. I don't feel like I need to do anything to that. It all looks good. Actually, I might move this box down. It bothers me a little bit. So I'm going to take this box. I'm going to move it down just a little bit. I'm going to do it with a little, oh, never mind. That worked. Okay. I clicked to add the title of the course. I made a little navigation page to where you can click and it'll bounce to whatever day of the week you want. I just think that's convenient. And then I've got these 2 slides. I always put in these 2 slides. I think they're super helpful for students and educators alike. Make it a hub. This can be like your quick links. It's almost like a bookmarks bar or things that you go to frequently. You can put those right here. Then we want to leave this where they can put the week number in. I think week at a glance still applies. Now, here's my other lesson plan. Do you see where this feels more like maybe it's made for lower grades because it's like talking about activities, starters, all that? Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to go in and we are going to import our new background. Now, I could just import the background and put it in there and replace it, but I want to add this as a actual I want to add it as an actual piece in my master collection. So I'm going to go to View, Master. Then I'm going to go to it. Go to Master Slides. This is where you can go in and create stuff that's in your drop down, okay? I highly recommend, especially once you get comfortable with creating resources, start building out some master slides. You're going to be able to add to your repertoire of things that you are creating. And these are just some of the ones I've made over the past, 6 to 8 months. And so let's go in. I'm going to find my lesson plan one. Where are you, little buddy? I've already seen it. Where is it? Lesson plan, lesson plan. Lesson plan, lesson plan. I'm singing to stall to find my lesson plan. Here we go, here we go. Okay, I don't want, because I could just change it right here. I don't want to change it yet because I want to have this as an option as well. I want both of them as options. There it is, lesson plan, found it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this. So I want to hit Option, drag, just like we talked about with Canva, and then, actually I'm just gonna hit copy. Select that, hit Command copy, and then Command paste. And then it's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. There it is. Okay, so now I've got 2 of these. I'm not gonna mess it up. I need to title it. This is something I wish I would have done. I could go in and do it. It'd take me like 10 minutes, but I need to go in and I need to title it. I'm gonna call this Lesson Plan High School. Rename. And I'm gonna put this, I'm naming the slide High School. Okay. Now I'm going to import that background that we just created. And it's up and it's up. Here we go. I'm going to go to background and I'm going to choose the image. And then I'm just going to drag and drop what I just created. Yeet. Just going to yeet that into there. Yeet. Sorry. I love saying that. I coach my oldest son's soccer team and my younger son, but my older son, I coach his team. And I like to say, I make the students say, the players say yeet whenever they throw the ball in, on the sidelines. They have to go yeet. And then whenever the goalie throws the ball out, I make him say yeet as well. I don't make him. I highly recommend it. It's not uploading. What's the deal? Let's just go to browse. Okay. Oh, there it is. It's working. I'm just doing it. I'm messing it up. Okay. So, okay, I can hit this. I'm going to delete that text. Now I need to start adjusting some of this stuff. So like these, apparently I thought I'd made that in Canva. It looks like I didn't. I guess I made it in here. But with me making it in here, I can do this. I can do some of this little chicken nugget. I can move that over, up. Okay. It's not really what I want, but we'll go with it. I'm creating my like text boxes. These are the spots where I'm going to, let's see if we can zoom in. You're gonna let me zoom in? Nope. Cool. You're just gonna skip around. Oh my goodness. Go back. There we go. Okay. So I need to get rid of topic. Sorry, my computer is figuring out how to work. Okay, and you're doing this at home, right? Are you guys doing this? You're like, oh no, I had forgot. It's okay. We're gonna get there. Okay. So I'm gonna shrink this down. I don't want text to get crazy. And you can choose the default for how this text goes. They added that in there, that feature. Good job, Google. Not really what I'm wanting. I want it to go a little tighter. Nope. It feels pretty good, right? Pretty clean. Okay, so I'm going to clear out this box. Okay, I'm just actually going to clear all this out because this is super complicated to look at all this. So we're just going to delete all of that. Excellent. So I've got this, and now I want, and I can choose right here. I can say do not auto fit. I want shrink text on overflow because I want it to shrink around the box. Okay, and you have a bunch of options there. So now I'm just going to hold option, and I'm going to drag and put the other ones right here. There we go. Same thing here. Oh no, I messed that up. No, I did it right. Let's go up. Perfect, but I think it'll work. Unit, let's go over a little bit so they have more room to work with. Have more room over here? Yeah, we got it over here. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to go and add these over. Add option. All right, we're rolling. We're rolling. We're almost done, everybody. We're doing great. Okay, I'm going to add objectives. Remember, I've got it to shrink text and overflow, but I want to give as much room as possible to work with. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing here. Once you get one set how you want, it's a lot easier to adjust because you're just dragging and making your copies. So good. Okay, and this one I'm going to make a little bit bigger because I've got more room. Oh, I wanted to make a number line. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a number line. How did this lesson go? And then they could rate it on the number line. I guess I'll have to say that for the next lesson plan. Man, that would have been sick. I forgot about that. Okay. Now I need one of these. You're going to come with me. I'm going to put it right here. Okay. There we go. Then we're going to make that duplicate there. There. Man, are you guys having fun? Y'all doing this? Y'all feeling good? In the chat, let me know. What of this process have you not done? What of this process have you done? I would love to know. I would love to know. Okay, and we're going to bring that in a little tighter. There we go. Now we should have boxes on all of this. So let's see how this worked out. So we've got lesson plan, we've got this. I feel like I've got it. Remember, I'm going to show you how to do this part, and then you're going to get to do the rest of this. Okay, sweet. I think we're good to go. I think we're good to go. So I'm just going to click over here on the left where my slides are. Not there. I'm going to click over here on the left where the slides are. That way I can click out of it. I'm going to go back to Monday. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I've got that. Now I want to go in and I'm going to add my new slide that I just created. So I'm going to click my drop down. I could have replaced these slides, but I didn't want to mess up this one in my master in case it's connected to any other presentations. So we're going to take this one. This is the one we want. Let's make sure we have everything the way we want it. Okay. Okay, it's a little, I don't know. It looks a little cluttered. I wonder if I need to set, I've got it set to shrink on autoflow. So I think we're good. You would just click to add you click to add all the text. I think we're good. Okay, so here's what I need to do. I need to delete my other slides. So I'm going to click this slide and hit delete. And I'm going to click this. And I'm going to scroll down, hold shift, and delete that. And then I am going to I want to create something to where they can drag over the top of this, okay? So they could fill it in. It looks like I think we're solid. Does this one go kind of long? Look how long that is. We don't need that. Oh, that's unit. That's not supposed to be there. Ooh, good catch. So we're going to view. Thank you, whoever pointed that out. I'm going to go to master. And I'm going to go in and delete this because it don't belong. Get out of here. You was hiding in plain sight. Okay. I wonder if we can make this look better. Shrink on autoflow. It did that. I just don't want it to like run over the top of it. Maybe we turn this into, let's see. Should we change it, the text box style to make it just a text box? But I like the size of the subtitle. Let's just leave it as is. Okay. You're going to fill it out anyways. So there you go. All right. So we got that. I think we're rolling. Where is this? Let's see. Okay, so I've got that. I feel like I'm good. Got all the stuff filled in. We need to create this. So I need to create a circle. And I'm going to create a shape. And it's going to be a circle. And I'm going to put it right here. And then I want to make it a good circle. Right size. Not right there. That's not where I want it to go. I want it to go down here. Okay. Now, I want it to be a circle that goes around that. So actually, I'll make it a little smaller. There you go. I think that's good. We're going to find out in a second. So I need to make the middle of it transparent. So I'm going to click on this, make it transparent. And then I want to do, let's do this. Let's do the navy one because I've already got red in there. Is that navy? Did I select navy? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Boom. So we got navy. And then I'm going to make the border just a little bit bigger. So make it like a 3. Is that good? Okay, let's try this out. So I'm pretending I'm a teacher. I'm like, oh, I want to circle what day it is. I'm going to click this and drag it to Wednesday. There you go. And then you will be good. Okay, so I'm going to click this and go down. Actually, they can just do this. And then they can drag it over. Yeah, buddy. We're doing it. Okay, does that make sense? And they can drag it over the top of it. Okay. I'm going to make a text box telling them they can do that. Just to kind of guide them. Hint, drag the circle over the day of the week. Do that. Make it bold. How about a little bit of spice? Actually, I'll make it light. I don't want it to go crazy. We're going to change the font color. We're going to put it as red. There we go. All right, so let's just drag that over the top of this. And we're going to put it right here. There we go. People can delete that if they get sick of it. Okay. Hint, drag the circle over the day of the week. Solid. We're doing it. Make this bold. Just let Hint know it's bold. Hints are important. Okay. Now we've got one, so we need to make multiple pages of this. So all I'm going to do is select this, hit copy, and then I want to paste. I've got 1 day of the week. I need 4 more. So paste, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I forgot one thing I should have done. I could have made an invisible box for people to click my links on my stuff. You know what? We might as well do it. Y'all want to? We're in here. We might as well. Might as well do it. Here we go. I'm just going to delete this and this. Delete. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make an invisible link box. Y'all ready for this? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a shape. I'm going to do a rectangle. And I'm going to drag it over my information down here. Okay? Now, sorry. That was gross. Okay, so now I want to make it to where it is transparent on the inside and transparent on the outside. Now, I want to make it link out to something. So I can make it link to my username or my website. I could have made 2. We're here. Let's make 2 boxes. So I can do this over here on my name. And I can have it link out. I guess I'll have it linked to my Instagram. Why not? So Instagram.com/Tyler Tarver, because I do daily tips on there. So maybe they like that. And then I can just hold Option, click and drag. Now I have a second one. And I can drag this over my website. And now I can make it Tarver Academy. Academy.com. Academy.com. I think that's good. Okay. You know what we could also do? We could also do the same thing for the Butler Teacher. If you want to be a Butler Teacher, you can buy the Butler Teacher Playbook. So I can make it here. Now, people can delete this. Honestly, they're probably never even going to click on this, but it gives them an option if they want. bit.ly/Baller Teacher. Apply. This transparent. This transparent. Bam. So now we have transparent there, transparent here. Did I just click it or did I make a copy? There it is. That one works. Did this one not work? I think I actually deleted it. Yeet. So we're going to hold option. Make sure we're holding option. Making the copy. I was afraid of this. Okay, so now let's adjust this back. Okay, sorry about that. Now, this is how, that's not how you do it. Tarver. Okay, great. Now you've done it. Now I need to go make those copies. So I've got a Monday one. Now I need to make it for Tuesday through the rest of the week. Hit Command C. Then we got Command V. Wait for it to pop up. I think I went too fast last time and I lost a little bit of steam. Paste it again. That's 3, 4, and 5. Now, I'm going to show you what it looks like whenever I go in. Let's do the whole process. Is that cool? So we went to Canva. We created the background. Tossed into Google Slides, made this. Now, you want to make this resource available to anybody, okay? So what you're going to do, let's make sure we got everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of the week. This got moved. What is this? Oh, man, I put the days of the week in there wrong. So let's do this. I need to drag these 3 up. It's always good to check it again. I almost sent it out, and it was going to look ratchet. So go right there. Okay, so now we're good. It flows into the days of the week. Then big reflection from the week into the week reflections. And then lesson plans by me. What's up? Okay, sweet. I think we're good to go. Okay, and also I have this slide in the beginning. It's just kind of like telling people about myself, stuff I offer, the free things they can connect with, and then some of the stuff they want to upgrade. Okay, so you can do the same thing there. Especially if you give them free resource, I don't feel bad. Honestly, I do this page on Teachers Pay Teachers as well if I toss it on that. Now, I want people to have it, so I want to put share. And then I want to say anyone with the link can view, okay? This just takes out any access issues you might run into later. So we're going to go to change. And we want anyone with the link, okay? So done. Now, anyone with the link can view it. I don't want that because then you're going to have people requesting access. You're going to have people hitting you up. You don't want that because then you're going to see people in here if you ever go change it. This is what I recommend. Go up here. You go to your address bar, and then somewhere near the end of your address bar, there's going to be the word edit, E-D-I-T. You want to find that, and then you want to highlight everything from the E in edit all the way to the end and delete it. Then you want to type copy. When you do that, I'm going to copy the whole link now. You have created a force make a copy. So for your resource, when somebody clicks the link, it's going to force make a copy. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Hey, it's Tyler here. I'm just going to give you a little break. So if you need to go do something, you need to go use the restroom, get a snack, get something to eat, whatever, you can go do that. I was going to chat with you about some stuff, give you some time to do that and check in, maybe say hi. If you want in the chat, let's do a little check-in. In the chat, how you feeling? Toss in your emoji of how you're feeling right now. Let's do a little emoji checkup, if you will. So while you're doing that, I do want to give, you know what? I spent a lot of time writing this book, and I genuinely think this book is going to help you in your classroom. It's gonna inspire you more than anything. It's a read with me, and one of the things that I feel like I've never been the smartest dude in the room. I've never been, the most talented, but I'll say this, I was always been pretty approachable, I think. I've been approachable, and I think what this is, I've tried to be as relatable as possible. I'm talking about my experiences, things I've run into in the classroom, what I've learned as a teacher and as an administrator and as a student, what I learned. And so this is the Baller Teacher Playbook. If you're interested in checking this out, I recommend, of course I recommend, it's my book. It's not the best book on education, but I think it's good enough to help you in some way. It's got a lot of practical experience in it. I've got quotes. That's a do you boo-boo. I could have picked a better chapter. Here's one thing. I want to show you one thing that I did at the end of each chapter. because I know teachers. Okay, I put in practical application, I put in reflection, because we know reflection is important, even though we never have time to do it. But it's got spots for you to write that in. So this is something you can work on by yourself or with your team. But here's the part that I did, and this is legit just for teachers. I don't know if you can see that. I put in, at the end of each chapter, I have a section called TLDR. That's internet talk for too long, didn't read. So what that means is, let's say you've got a team meeting, okay? Because there's 18 chapters in here. That means you and your team, or you and your building, you can go through a chapter once a week. You meet on your planning period, spend 10 minutes talking about what you did, what you tried, what worked, what didn't work, stuff to help improve your class and improve your students. Every week you can do that. Have you ever done this? In the chat, be honest, you ready? Have you ever had a team meeting where you're supposed to read something and you're walking over to the meeting and you're like, oh no, I forgot to read the thing I'm supposed to read that we're gonna discuss for like 15 minutes. So you like just try to chill and like hopefully don't get called on or get called out for not reading it. At the end of each chapter, I have a section called TLDR where in like 2 to 5 bullet points, I summarize the chapter. So you could be walking to the meeting, you could read these 3 or 4 bullet points and be able to have a conversation about the entire chapter. There's stories in here, there's practical experience, there's ways that I messed up, ways that I failed, and then ways that I feel like I succeeded, and just talking through what I learned from both of those. And I would love for you to learn and grow with me. So if you want to check out that book, it's on Amazon. I'll have a link on the screen if you want to get it. Link is in my bio. I link links everywhere to it. So Baller Teacher Playbook. I think it can help you in your classroom. Okay, we're about to get started. Kick back into it. Hopefully you're ready to roll, ready to go. And let's jump back in. Let's jump back in like Michael Phelps, okay? Well, does that work? Does that work? I mean, he jumps into the pool. That's what I was going for. I need to know more like high diver. High divers would have been better. I'll tell you this. We're gonna stick the landing like Carrie Strug. Y'all remember her? Carrie Strug, remember the Olympics? Georgia Olympics? Atlanta Olympics? You remember that? It's okay. It's a very narrow reference. All right, let's get started. Let's kick it off. Let's jump back in. Get your notes out. Get your screens pulled up. Get your coffee ready. Get your ice water. Your sweet tea. If you're from Arkansas like me, you know you like that sweet tea. And we're about to kick it off. Here we go. Let's get back in it. Let's get back in it. I'll see you guys. All right, here we go. Last session we got in this training. This is the Resource Creator Starter Kit. This is where we're going to do a run through of a bunch of resources, okay? We might talk about some that we've already done, but mostly I want to talk about where you can find these resources. These are all free. You can take them, make a copy, give them to your teachers. Go ahead and see if any of these apply to you. Take them, save money, and make things better in your building. Okay, so resource roundup coming up right now. Here we go. Last session. Let's end strong. Let's take something away from this. Let's make our schools better. Resource roundup. bit.ly/Tarver Solo. You can create this. It's like a link in bio, but also, and this is where I like push people to all the time, is, hey, I've got the resource here, link in my bio. What you can do is you can have them email you, text you, all your social media, and then you can organize all of your resources, trainings. Like this is what mine looks like. Super easy to use and super free. You can pay if you're like, oh, I need this feature or this feature, but honestly, the free one's probably gonna work fine. So go check that out, create that. If you're gonna make resources, you need a place to put them. I recommend using Solo. It's better than Linktree. It's better than tap.bio. I've had those before. This is the move. I promise you. Use bit.ly/Tarver Solo and sign up for that. Okay? Sweet. So here's a list. These are a lot of my resources too. So if I talk about something, you can go in here under templates or resources and use those resources. Okay? Sweet. We're going to go through on my website if that's okay with you, if you're not going to get upset. But I'm going to go to tarveracademy.com/resources, and we're just going to do kind of a rapid fire talk through of all these resources, how I created them, why, stuff like that. I'm not going to sit there and go like, oh, walkthrough. That would be like a 20-hour video if I'm doing walkthroughs on all this. But I do want to talk through some of these resources and the thought process behind them, and then what you could possibly do to get them out to the world. Okay, so let me switch this in case somebody bounces in. Let's give them a link to where we are right now. Excellent. tarveracademy.com/resources. Okay, so this first one, this resource, this was a fun one to make. So right here, I've got the Google Teachers cheat sheet. when we went and everybody's having, like, the pandemic hit and everybody's having to learn on their own, or not saying learn on their own, they're having to learn on the fly. They haven't used technology. I had the chance to be like super involved with using Google and Drive and all this stuff. Not Google and Drive. Why did I say that? Google and all of the programs inside of Google. I've been using them for several years because we did like an online school, blended learning. I was a principal and I just had to learn it in the process of what I was doing. And so I've been creating Google resources and doing trainings and stuff for years. And then when that hit, I was like, oh goodness, these teachers need help with a lot of this stuff. Now, before I show you that, I want to show you, I'm going to show you what happened before that. Okay, so you ready? So if you go to bit.ly/gtarver, okay, bit.ly/gtarver, it's going to go to what I call is the Google Certified Level 1 Educator cheat sheet. Okay, so this was like the first, I've made videos for years. I've made a couple templates. This was the first like monster resource I made, like one that took me well over like 100+ hours. That's an exaggeration. I'd say, I mean, it was like 3 hours a night, every night for 3 months. I'd say overall for literally making the videos, putting it in here, all this stuff, I mean, it took well over minimum 40 to 50 hours. I'd probably say closer to 70 or 80. I'm literally just guessing. I have no idea. In the chat, how many hours did I spend on this? You can tell me. So here's what I did. I had a resource. There's a resource from a Google trainer named Eric Kurtz. He's fantastic. Okay. Fantastic educator, great resource creator, awesome for teachers. So his name's Eric Kurtz. Eric had a checklist of skills people could use or skills people needed to know if they wanted to be a Google Level 1 certified educator. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, this, and I know Eric, we've made resources or done trainings. I've seen him at conferences, super cool guy. And I admired a lot of his stuff. And I saw this checklist and I'm like, this is incredible. Like, this is the checklist. It's all these skills. And he had listed all of these. Well, actually, I can show you what it looked like. So this is what it looks like now. I can show you what it looked like when he created it because I made a copy of it and I made a copy of that list. Now, I will tell you this. Anytime you take someone else's resource and you are going to like make an adaptation of it, is that a phrase? Make an adaptation of it. If you're going to adapt someone else's resource and use it as your own, you need to get permission. Okay. That's resource etiquette. So what I did was I made a copy of his checklist, which his checklist looked like this in 2017. He had it on, he still has it on his website. Skill checklist, Google Certified Educator Level 1. He's got a table of contents, and then he listed out all these skills that people need to know to be a certified Level 1 educator. Now, my idea was, that's cool, but if I don't, like, say I'm using this checklist and I don't know how to use, let's say I don't know how to create a Google document. What do I do if I want to learn that? So I thought, well, you know what? And I was literally, I'm telling you the process, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I would like to just click on it and have someone teach me how to do it. So I reached out to Eric. I'm going to call him Eric. Like, we're good buds. I do know him. I think he'd be cool if we call him Eric. I mean, I've called him Eric to his face. So yeah. So I reached out to Eric Kurtz and I was like, hey man, this resource, incredible. I love what you've created. Would you be okay with me making a copy of it and putting in links to tutorial videos of how to do these things? And he said yes. If he had said no, I would not have done it. I would have been like, oh, okay, well, I'm doing it anyways. I would have made my own list from my own thought process and tried to build it out. Now, he said yes, of course you can, and I don't even know, he may have asked for credit. I don't even know if he asked for credit in it, but I left like right here, videos by me, and then list by Eric Kurtz. So the list is right there. You click it and you go to his website. And I think it's in the footer too. If not, I've taken the footer. Nope, he's in the footer. Me and Eric and I are both in the footer as well if you want to go check him out. Now, my thought was, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to make videos. And I already had several Google tutorial videos that I'd made for my teachers. So like when I was at central office, if anybody had trouble or needed help with anything Google, instead of me like, okay, what's your prep period? Okay, I'm going to change my meetings around. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to spend 3 minutes showing them a tutorial. I would just say, hey, what do you need to know? Cool. I'd make a video and I'd send it to them. And that created a video out of it. So sometimes whenever I was making, like I took something from the Department of Ed, I used to be in charge of mentor teachers for our district. And so I think they called project director. So I was project director for mentor teachers at our district. So I oversaw new teachers and their mentor and them meeting and helping out new teachers. They gave me something and I was like, how can we make this more organized? So I'm making it as organized as I could. And then I'm making tutorial videos in case somebody doesn't know how to upload a document or somebody doesn't know how to make a copy of something. I'm making those videos because that's how I would want it to be explained. Every time I'm making a resource or creating something or trying to explain something, I think of that line from The Office. In the chat, who is your favorite Office character? In the chat, who is your favorite Office character? Okay. In The Office, there's a spot where Oscar is trying to explain something to Michael Scott. And Michael Scott hears him explain it. Then he looks at him, he goes, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Okay. I'm not saying educators are the mind of a 5-year-old. Educators are very smart and talented and gifted, and they have bachelor's degrees. So they're very smart all the way around. However, if you jump into something without context or you don't understand what's being said, you're confused and you want to check out. So whenever I'm creating something or when I'm wanting to like walk somebody through something, I want to give tutorials on literally everything I can to help them in the process. Okay. So I was making those videos and I was like, all right, I'm going to start attaching them in here. And so what I did was I just started create like every night from like 8 p.m. to midnight, I'm sitting here recording videos on my computer, and then I'm importing them into Final Cut Pro, and then I'm exporting them, and then I'm uploading them into YouTube. And so I'm sitting here making these videos every night, and you can see my progress. Like this is me working on it. So like, here we go. All right, here's one I did. I was working on it at 11 p.m., June 3rd, 2019. I think I had them all in. Oh, let's go back. Let's go back further. Where we're going, we don't need roads. What is that from? In the chat, what is that from? Where we're going, we don't need roads. So here we are. So my process was, okay, I'm going in and I'm making videos for all this. I'd made all the Google Drive videos. I made all these docs ones. Now, if it was red, that meant that I had recorded it, but I had not uploaded it yet. So I wanted to make sure I didn't like do it again. So you got to figure out your process when you're creating these resources. And I'm going in and I've still got all these to go. So I went in and made tutorial videos for every single one of these instructional things that Eric had. So I took his list, made a copy, edited it to make all these links on there. And then now if somebody's like, oh, I want to pass the level 1 exam, I need to know how to create a Google Doc, they can click this. It goes to a YouTube video here. Now, see how I integrated Google Docs with YouTube? Like you can mash across these different platforms. And here it goes. They have a video and they can just, boom, I'm going to hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit the like button in this video. That'd be nice. Actually, more importantly, hit the red subscribe button. That'd be dope. So this is me going through explaining the video in 3 minutes on how to do that. Okay. So here's the deal, guys. And this is the thought: as you make resources, do not get discouraged. I went in and I created this, and I'm not going to lie. I thought it took me so much time. And I sit here and thought, this is an incredible, like, this is it. This is an amazing resource that can help educators. I put it out there. Like, I think I put it on Twitter is where I put, because there's a ton of educators on Twitter. And I put it out there and I was like, oh, great. They're going to love it. It got some retweets, but it never it did not take off. People maybe looked at it and then didn't come back. Like it did not have the legs that I thought it would. I didn't think it was going to, I thought people would love it and it would go crazy and be great. It did not have the impact that I thought it would. Don't put all your eggs in one resource basket. Don't be like, I'm going to make this one resource. Okay. I mean, actually Nadine's got a couple resources that like I think everybody used at least 5 times. They're absolutely incredible. And so whenever you are creating these, you put it out there, you give it as much marketing as you can, but keep in mind this. Okay. So I did all these videos back in like 2019, I think is when I finished this, put it out there, boom, here you go, world. And the world's just like, meh, we're good. Then the pandemic hit and everybody started working on their stuff at like from home. Like they're working remotely, they're working virtual, like they're trying to learn all this stuff like on a whim. And I'm sitting here thinking, I just recorded like 300 plus Google tutorial videos that might help teachers during this time. However, I said, hey guys, here's the skill checklist. Sometimes it's not about the resource you made. It's about the package you're putting it in. So let me show you something right here. I took this And this is a lot of videos. Well, more the better. Sometimes we need to simplify those resources. And what I did was I took that and I repackaged it into a Google cheat sheet for teachers. When I made this resource and put it out there, it's not like I had to go in, like all these links, all these blue words are tutorial videos. Guess what? I made them a year before the pandemic. And all I'm doing now is bringing out the ones that are the most important. And I'm tossing them in like, okay, here's some stuff for Google Classroom you're probably going to hit trouble with. Docs, sheets, slides, forms, meet. I'm going in and I'm like, I've already got all this stuff. I've already created the content. I just need to figure out how to package it so that it can help teachers the most. And again, teachers like it to be simple and clear so they're not confused. Look at this. This is not that other sheet was like 8 pages. It was kind of overwhelming. Here, it's just like, oh, picture, Google Classroom, click, go. YouTube, boom. Here's also Nadine and Eric. I put both of them in there. Here's the deal too. If you're kind with your resources, Nadine and Eric are some of the most kind, helpful people that I know in education on the internet. And so what am I going to do when I'm making this? I'm definitely going to push their stuff. People remember the people that are out there for themselves and the people that are out there to help people. And so I hope that I'm resonating that. Like this list, I know both Nadine and Eric. I was in the Google Innovator thing with Nadine. So I met her through that. She's fantastic. I got the chance to like say, oh, this is a great person that's doing great things. I'm going to promote her every chance I get. Eric, super cool. Whenever all he did was say, sure, man, use my resource. And now I'm going to promote. I'm literally promoted him today. I will continue to promote him for as long as I can. And I'll talk about him. Yay Math. I've met this dude. He has a math YouTube channel. I could easily be jealous that he's got way more subs than me. But you know what? I connected with him. We talked on the phone about like, education, entrepreneurship, YouTube for a while. Love this dude. Great guy, super kind and helpful. I would love to do more stuff with him. I'm going to promote him. As you're in the process of creating and doing, do not get in a silo where you're like, oh, I'm just going to create this and I need to push people to my stuff. Y'all don't look at their stuff. Like Nadine and Eric have resources that if you like that, you don't need my resource. Guess what? Cool. If they helped you, that's my goal. There was an entrepreneur. There's a guy that said it this way. If you want to build the biggest building in town, there's 2 ways to build it. Either you can help build it and just make it as tall as you can and not worry about the other buildings growing up around you, or you can try to tear down every building around you and just be the one left standing. I highly recommend trying to build up and empower those around you. I've met Tyler DeWitt. I've met, let's see who else. I think there's other math guys. I've met Patrick JMT. These people I'm promoting. Mr. DeMayo, super great dude. My kids love his videos. I'm going to promote him every chance I get. Then these resources, these were things, some of them I'd already created, some of them added since. These are full trainings. I had already done this stuff and put it out there for nobody. And then I put it in this. Now, here's the deal. Even just putting it in this didn't get it out there. It didn't market it out to the world. But I'd been pushing it out on YouTube. I'd pushed it out on Twitter, and it never really popped off. Then I got on an amazing little app called TikTok. Shout out TikTok. If you're on TikTok, in the chat, let me know your TikTok handle. Okay. I would love to see your TikTok handle. Throw it in the chat. Here's the deal. TikTok has an algorithm where it helps you find communities. I'm sitting there and I was making just dumb videos about me, like pretending to dunk a basketball, but really falling into a swimming pool. Okay. That was just doing that for fun because I thought that's what you're supposed to do on TikTok. I did not know there are these communities based on different interests. And there's an incredible Teachers of TikTok community. And so I get on there and I see a couple tutorial videos like, oh, cool. I'll promote this Google Teacher cheat sheet. I toss it on there and it got like, I don't know. It wasn't amazing, but I got like a couple, like 100 or 200,000 views on this resource and people are clicking my link in my bio and it's helping teachers for free. That's what essentially kickstarted. Like I had years of creating resources where barely anybody paid attention except for people I'm like visiting in person. I'm like, hey, here's this resource. Here's this. It just takes the right moment and the right community and the right algorithm a lot of times for it to pop off and get the attention of people to where you can help more and more people. Now, I'm throwing this out here, and all it did was repackage that other thing I just showed you. All it did was repackage my other one, organize it, and then give it to teachers to use. So when you're creating resources, make it as simple as possible, make it as organized as possible. Then think of how you can repackage that and add resources to people. Now, here's another way I repackage that same exact resource to add value to teachers. It is under my, where is it? It's slides intro help page. Okay. So I took those that essentially Google cheat sheet for teachers, or actually I think I took I made a copy of that one and I adjusted some of the links and made it applicable for students. Boom. The first resource, building those videos, took 50 plus hours. Making the teacher cheat sheet took 3 hours one Sunday afternoon. Took 3 or 4 hours. Making the student cheat sheet took like less than an hour. Making the parent one took like 30 minutes. So it's like, as you keep building off of your other resources, you can save a ton of time to where you can go in and make more versions of different resources. Catholic Bahamas School, what's up? It's great to see you guys. I think I get the chance to talk to you guys pretty soon. Thank you for the commitment to building and empower those around you. I really appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to chatting with your teachers, and I hope I can add them value. And I'm working with some of their teachers. They're an awesome community, or the people I'm emailing seem super incredible. So I took that original, those videos, which were just on YouTube. I'm like, I'll just put them on YouTube. Then I package them on the resource level 1 checklist. Boom, that's a resource. Then I repackaged that into the Google cheat sheet for teachers, students, parents. Then I was like, you know what else would be helpful? Is if that cheat sheet was even more accessible and you actually had that in like every presentation you do for your students, every assignment you give in Google Slides. So what I did was I repackaged it and put it as a slide in Google Slides. Take your resources. When you're building all these resources, think of how you're cross-promoting and doubling up, because what might be super helpful for one group a certain way could help another group another way. It's honestly, it's that whole Google mentality that is like, you know, if you want like, I'm doing a training on Google Slides and you're like, well, how do I make a copy of something? There's like 5 different ways to make a copy of a document in Google Docs. But whenever you go and find these different avenues where you can add these resources, it's okay to make a different version of what you've already got. You don't have to be like, well, I kind of did that already. No, repackage it and use it for somebody else and then apply it to their situation. So that's a thought process. As you're creating resources, think of how you can use those resources and build and not start from scratch every single time. Okay, a good example of that was, I told you people said they wanted a digital interactive notebook. So I went in and I created a digital interactive notebook. Okay, I've got a weekly version and I've got a full semester. Guess what? Once I made the weekly version, then I'm just selecting the week, copy and pasting, and I'm doing it 18 times. That's now a semester. And all I did was add in like a navigation bar. Okay, so you can think of how to duplicate your resources and make different options you can make different options on what people are getting, because some people might want a weekly one. Some people might want a full semester. It took me an extra 10 minutes to make that other version. So why not go ahead and do that? Why not go ahead and do that so that you can have multiple resources for different people and different avenues? Okay. So right here, hey, my dog joined us. That was the door. Sorry about that. So you go in, and the idea for this interactive notebook, I'm sitting here thinking, what is one? It's okay to put like something describing. So at the beginning of most of my resources, I've got like a short letter, like, hey, here's a resource. If you would, please subscribe to my stuff on Instagram or TikTok, where I do more tips to help teachers. So it's okay, because you're getting, especially I don't feel bad because I'm giving a free resource. It's okay to be like, hey, here's some more free areas I can add you value. And then down here, I have like an upgrade your resources. So it's like, here's all this free stuff where I can add you plenty of value. But then down here, if you really want to upgrade it, these are some other things you can do. You can buy my book. You can do summer PD, which you're in right now. What's up? You can do the honor roll, all that stuff. So it's okay to put that in there as an option. Now, if they don't want that, they're like, oh, but I got to give this to my students, blah, blah, blah. They can hit delete. Bam, it's deleted. No more slide. That wasn't hard. Okay, so like if people cry about it, guess what? Don't be mad about the free resource that I just gave you. So Chilio, it's Coolio, not Chilio. Coolio's pretty Chilio though, okay? Coolio is by far one of the most underrated rappers in the rap game. Am I right, guys? Am I wrong? Am I right? In the chat, who is your favorite musician from the 90s? Tell me in the chat. I would love to hear it, okay? So the idea with this notebook is that it's essentially an organization tool for teachers to kind of lay out the week for students and then assign it in classroom and make a copy for every single student. So as I'm creating this resource, that is my mindset. That is what I'm thinking as I'm going in and creating this resource. I'm thinking, how can I make this where a teacher can go in, edit a couple things or change a couple things or fill in a couple things, and then they can assign it for their students so that it's like the easiest way for them to do it. So a lot of my resources may be a little generic. So like the math stuff, like that's for math teachers. The rest of this stuff, I'm like, how can they apply this to multiple like subject areas or grade levels? Any grade level, I would say, I mean, even as early as kindergarten could use it, because you could give this to parents and show them how their week's going to be laid out. Then look, I made that resource earlier. Guess what? I'm going to put it in this too. Important links, Google Help videos, copy paste, put it in here. Took me a few minutes. I've got that resource, which if you look at the the videos and took me hours to do. Now I've already got it. I'm repackaging it inside of another resource. So always think about how they can overlap. Then I made this little attendance map because we had a lot of people that were like, my students are working virtually. How can they do this? I'm thinking through, well, what would be an easy way for students to clock how they're working and when they're working and put it on there. So I put this in here. Guess what? If a teacher doesn't want it, you delete it. Now, here's the cool thing. If you're like, oh no, you deleted it. When you build these, especially in Google Slides, when you're building these resources and these templates and these master slides, actually, I think they call it Theme Builder now. When you're in Theme Builder and you're building all these slides, you're adding to your repertoire of it. So like this right here, if I click this drop down, it's going to have all of these templates from, like, a lot of these aren't in this. They're from different resources I've made that now overlap into this theme. Okay. They would go in, they could put the week number. They put the week at a glance. I wanted them to be able to say this for their students. And then they have it to where they can list out stuff. They can leave it blank for students to fill in. And also, whenever you're making these resources, think through like, okay, if I give this to a teacher and then a teacher assigns it to students, what is going to get lost in translation? And I made these boxes to where you can click them. You can click, like I've got like an invisible box over this. And then when you do something on the to-do list, you can click this and it fills in the box. I thought, you know what? There's a good chance this is not going to be translated to students from the teachers I'm giving this to. So what I did was I put instructions with a link to a video tutorial over here on the left explaining how they can fill in the checklist. So students now teachers don't have to explain it to their students. I'm bypassing that and I'm doing it to where they can just go in and be like, okay, I can read this and I know what I'm doing with this resource. And then I do Monday through Friday. And then I end the week. I tossed in a Cornell Notes and a blank notes page. Like I wasn't even planning on doing a Cornell Notes page. And I was like, you know what? Let me look up what a template looks like for that, because I'd never used Cornell Notes in my life as a student or teacher. And so I went in and made that resource. This one took me, this honestly didn't take that long. I think I made this little theme in like 20 minutes. So now I've got that. I can add that to anything I want. It's in my repertoire. Big wins from the week. This is a way for the students to reflect. Now, I started with this. This was the first. This took a while, for real. I actually started with the semester one. It took a long time because I made like a navigation bar and all this stuff. Now, this took a while to make. However, then whenever I decided, you know what, I want to make another journal, guess what? I've already got the background templates. I've got the intro pages. I've got the help slides. I've got all that stuff. All I did was make a copy of that template. And then I went in and made, let's see, what's one that I made a copy of? Let's see, you could do the daily student reflection journal. I was like, that's a cool journal. What's a journal teachers could do at the beginning of any class to where they could go in and they could build a copy of this, okay? So we go in, hit make a copy. I made a copy of that other one. I rolled in and then I went and made, I was able to make this journal just by adding different things into that. So I'm waiting on it to load up. Load up. Load up. While that's loading, in the chat. Oh, wow. Am I glitching? Are we better? Okay, I'm better. Sorry, it was loading up, so it was taking a hot minute. Now, did I have to make this slide again? No, because when I made a copy, that was already there. I think I adjusted a little bit, but not much. Boom, important links. Guess what? Already made that. Copy's in there. Made that. Copy in there. Navigation. I'd made it in the previous one for the full semester. Boom, it's in here as well. They can click and it jumps to whatever slide they want. Then I went in, made the page, and I went in and created this. And I was able to copy paste, put all this stuff in there, and I made a daily student reflection journal. Think through the process of what I've already created and how can I go in and use this resource as another like as the basis for another resource. Okay, so that's how it went from all that to this one to another one. And then this is kind of like this is my big one. So I was already making these like quote of the day bell ringers where people could just go grab a YouTube video, toss it in Google Classroom, and then just assign it for their students to create discussion and all this stuff. And I made like all these videos, took a ton of time and all this, whatever, who cares? Blah, 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 Tyler. So I made all these videos. And then I thought to myself, I've already got kind of a template for the Notebook. Great movie, by the way. Have anybody ever seen The Notebook? So I've got my template for my digital interactive notebook. I've got all these bell ringers. I bet I can make another resource. So I made a quote of the day template, like a notebook for a full semester where people could have students just go into this for their bell ringers every single day. Think through how you can adapt and reuse and do all of these resources that you're creating. Think through, how can I go in? How can I take what I've already done and spend time on, and how can I package that to help either students or teachers? So it's loading up. While it's loading up, what is the next resource you want to make, either for yourself or for other educators? What is the next resource you want to make? Okay, sweet. Now, if you'll notice right here, I took this one step further. In that last video, I was like, I put the instructions over here on the side. I've got that in here as well. But then I thought, I have a teacher that wants to use this, and then they have to re-explain my mindset for creating this. So I just went in and made a video that teachers can show students, telling them exactly how to use this notebook. So here's a YouTube video that they can just hand to their students on how to do this. Again, made the copy, didn't start from scratch, used the notebook, adjusted a little bit of my navigation bar right here. See, it's clicking, loading up. Then I made like a little completion checklist right here. Then what I did was I made a little template, and I went in and imported the videos that I already had on YouTube. I already had this list on my bell ringer side of my website. Then I'm just really attaching them into a notebook. This took a few hours one Sunday afternoon. Actually, it took more than a few hours. It took a little while to do this. So I'm taking all these videos I spent a lot of time on. I've taken the notebook I spent a lot of time on, overlapping them and making another resource. It's quote of the day. So I've got a different video every day where students can go in and they can do this notebook. That's the idea behind some of this stuff. Think through, how can I reuse resources that I've already got? Okay, so for sake of time, I'm going to go through and I'm going to kind of rapid fire some of these things. So if you want to go back and find these, you can. They're at tarveracademy.com/resources. If you want to, hey, what's up? Saw somebody in the chat. How you doing? If you want the walkthroughs and stuff, have your school like reimburse you and you join the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. That's what I recommend. Okay, but it's up to you. Follow your heart. Okay, so real quick, if you want to go to tarveracademy.com/resources. We've already talked about those. Now I'm going to walk through these in case these can help you either as a starting point for what you're creating, or maybe they just help you in your class. Okay, here's some lesson plans. I've got some basic ones, and then we're going to actually build this one, this high school lesson plan. We're building that at the end of these, like the last session after Nadine's done. I'm going to build this with you in Canva and then in Google Slides. Quote of the day, bell ringers. That's the bell ringer. And then here it is in the template built into the notebook, combination of the bell ringers and the notebook. You've got in the movie, I wrote you every day for a year. In the chat, what is your favorite line from the notebook? I'd love to know. Then I made some team meeting agenda notes. That's to help you move as a team, like getting forward. Daily student reflection journal, so your students can reflect on the day, what they want to accomplish, what they're thankful for. I think that one's a super good resource. Getting to know you form. This is a Google form you can give your students either at open house or the first day of school, so you can get their parents' email addresses, their parents' names, phone numbers, and then learn a little bit about your students. Curriculum map is so you can plan out your year. It's in a Google Sheet. Classroom discipline form. This is how you can record discipline for your class. I actually created this while I was a principal, and all my teachers used it, and I was able to see it. And then I created something, if you're with me on the Autocrat training, how to generate an automated email from when somebody fills out a form. That's Autocrat, and I'm doing a training on that this summer. Join the honor roll if you want. Sorry, now I am pitching. Now I need, okay, I'll chill. I'm sorry. Stop pitching your honor roll. Okay, sorry. Student reported discipline. That's if you want the students to report their own discipline. That's an adaptation of something I used in my class via paper in a Google form. Positive student action form. That's where students can go in and you go in and you record when students do stuff well in your class to praise them for positive actions. daily student check-in. It's so students have a safe place to, one, check in for your class, whether they're virtual or in person, but also let you know if they're not feeling well that day, so you can kind of be aware without them having to say it in front of other students. Sometimes students feel more comfortable saying it in like a Google form or chat or anonymous location. Certified educator checklist, that's what we just went through. Google cheat sheet for teachers, it's at the top. Students, parents, we did that, it's at the top. Google student checklist, this is like a back to school checklist of things that you can walk through with your students so they know how to use. So like I've linked to different things and it's just like step by step, hey, walk through this. About our class Google slide, this is a back to school activity you can do. And here's the cool thing, this one I love, I don't have a lot of time, but when you click on it, it's something you can assign to your students, but also it's got little tutorials in the walkthrough. So if your students don't know how to do it, they can click the video, watch the video, and then go in and do the thing. And then you can get to learn your students and your class. This we talked about is the intro slides help page. This is a Google, this one, and this one are Google Forms that adapt based on how students are doing on a test or exam or review. So that's super helpful if you want the Google Forms to adapt and differentiate based on how students are doing. And I've got walkthroughs in there explaining how to set that up. This is a walkthrough form for administrators. This is in a course evaluation for you and your classes, so students can tell you how they feel about the class and what you can improve. That can be hard to read, but important. Summer PD notes. If you're in the summer PD, hopefully you're using this template to make notes and take notes and use these resources. This is a classroom resource hub. This is essentially where you can build out links that help your students know how to get to different things, or parents or whoever get to different things for your class and resources. Cornell Notes, that's a Cornell Notes template. This is a walkthrough if you're creating educational video. A lot of the research studies I'm looking at, these are the ways that they recommend you lay out an educational video so you can fill it out and then record a video for your students. Math problem of the day is bell ringers, but for math. These are Washington, D.C. I did like a little vlog where I'm walking around and I do fun facts about different Washington monuments, and including the Washington Monument. This email templates where you can automate, or you can have automatic templates for discipline or truancy or zeros on assignments. These are templates for that you can import into your Google or in your Gmail. This is how to create, is a classroom app template to create a classroom app, which we did in our Canva tutorial. And then here is the resource spreadsheet. And then this is a series I did, kind of like Bill Nye, but a lot not as good. And it's a resource to help your students be successful in their classroom and in remote learning. So there we go. That's a quick run through. That's my session. I'm going to stop talking because, man, that's a lot of Tyler to listen to. And we're going to hear someone much more lovely and talented. We're going to listen to Nadine Gilkison, and she is fantastic. And I would really appreciate if you went in and found her on social media. You need to follow her because she gives a ton of resources for teachers. And so I highly recommend you go follow her, check her out, and get some of the resources from her. She's about to show you some stuff on how to create meaningful resources. And then after she's done, we're actually going to walk through creating that lesson plan, starting with Canva and rolling into Google Slides. So thank you guys for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed today's sessions. Hope you learned something. Hope you got something out of the very least, whether you're going to create resources for free or for sale. I hope that you got an idea of what that entails and some thoughts to make more resources even better for other educators. Thank you guys so much. Y'all be good. We did it. We did it. We learned something. Did you learn something today? In the chat, I want you to put the thing that you are taking away from today. Put one thing in the chat right now that you have learned or that you have realized or that's reinforced something you think. Put that one, that I like to call this the golden nugget. Put the golden nugget from today in the chat. And that way, if somebody's missed it or they checked in, go ahead and you guys can copy paste what other people put. If there's some advice, you can screenshot it. Get this. I want you to throw in the best thing you learned today. It's like a best of highlight reel for your favorite thing that happened during this training. Toss that in the chat right now so we can share and grow together. Okay, we're about to do the evaluation. Before we do, I want to remind you, if you want access to this entire training at any time throughout the year, not just these live broadcasts, you can join the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. Why'd I do this? Hey guys, Tarver Academy Honor Roll. It's like Netflix for teachers. Netflix for teachers, because you have resources, you have templates, you have PDs, trainings. It's literally like a library of trainings, and then access to ask questions, to request resources that I build and send out to teachers all around the world. So tarveracademy.com/honor roll if you want to join the greatest community on the planet. And I'm not biased at all. I mean, all of us, you're on the honor roll. You want to be on the honor roll? Sick. Let's all be on the honor roll. And I'm a dean, so you can be on the dean's list. Hey, that works. Okay. All right. Now it's time for your evaluation. I'd love to get your thoughts on what you thought for this, but also I'm going to send you a certificate saying that you sat through this training. You put in the time. You wanted to learn. You wanted to grow. You wanted to get better. This is going to be a certificate that I'm going to email to you. What I need you to do is I need you to go to the link on the screen or hover over the QR code with your phone. Get your phone out, hover over it. It's going to ask you a few questions. If you don't get this, it means that you put your email address in wrong. Make sure, please do not rush this. Type your email address in correctly. Please, I'm begging you, because if not, you're gonna email me, I never got my certificate. It's because your email address is wrong. Type in your email address correctly, fill it out, fill out your name, make sure you capitalize, make it look good, because it's gonna fill in to the certificate from this. So I need you to put this in correctly, please. Okay, go there, we're gonna walk you through it. Go into this, click on the link, or is it, you can't click on the link because it's on a video. Type in the link on your computer or type it in on your phone or whatever device you have. Scan the QR code, fill it out. I'm gonna send you a certificate with a timestamp on it saying what time you ended. You have proof from earlier if you sent in to the other link of what time you started. And then you also got your notes and all the stuff you've learned, your screenshots, all of that to show your administrator or whoever, your spouse. You show your friends, show people on the streets, all the learning that you did. You can frame that certificate. I think we're all getting framed. You get a frame, I'm getting framed. I'm gonna put it up on my shelf. I got too much stuff on my shelf already. So look at this, Lonzo Ball rookie card. If you got any, by the way, you got any basketball cards you want to sell, hit me up. I've been slightly obsessed with basketball cards, and I apologize for bringing it up. Look at this. This is all Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, I mean, he's the GOAT. Everybody says it. Who's in the chat? Who is your favorite basketball player of all time? I'd love to know. If it's Lonzo Ball, it's quite the coincidence because I had it sitting on my desk. If not, it's probably this guy. Probably this guy right here. See that guy? That's Michael Jordan. No big deal. It's whatever. Don't like to brag about it. I mean, it's not that expensive, that card. But if you got any cards you want to sell, holler at me. I don't know why I said that. I'm just stalling so you guys can fill out your evaluation. All right. Y'all feel good? I'm gonna leave this on the screen for you for a little while in case you had to step out for a second. I'm gonna leave this up. Thank you again so much for your attention and your time and everything that you put into learning and growing with us today. I'm Tyler. This is Tarver Academy. Let's learn to have fun. See you guys later.